Sawn iddo ses a neicio diog Ghiùthsaich Ghiùthsaich y hwg Fiona Mhicamhlaigh siachat yn dwys sio is on I chiad turys. Ond oes yn haedd fi ymysg na dwys yn bychlwyd I chi as y spores. As o ladw ha greim geama chawn iddo fi a Kingussie idd Chupa Mhicamhlaigh ach hasgyp yn Òbain mae'r edreiniad yn y 2023 y dochus gybi y ffyrwch ys y falis o hyn. Ha Daniel Cameron agus Chupa Mhicamhlaigh gan Òbain geama iolwch I fi cluich y sio y parc y Fosfield ach bu iadson y fiaching rys yn dwys o hwgal is on y diach gyd turys. Na neu Kingussie Dich harichyd turys y fwn I gad yn Chupa Mhicamhlaigh smar sy'n had y dochus o hors yr arsw ys yr adeg yw. Falcher y fydd la bria y sio ag parc y Fosfield as yn Òbain agus Andy Watt Colrum fer efo re mae'r manager agus mae'r chleichyd ag Chupa yn yr ere. And Andy, we're here. Lovely day for Shinty. Quite fancy being out in the park myself, but just how big an occasion will this be for both sides?
Yeah, it's going to be huge, obviously. The Macaulay Cup's a massive date in the calendar, and the Shinty fixture calendar, so no, massive game for both, obviously. There's always that added incentive for Oban making a final in Macaulay. Being here at Mossfield itself, Kingussie clearly multiple winners in the Macaulay Cup as well, and probably get quite big ambitions for the rest of the season and still a number of competitions and all to play for. So yeah, looking forward to it. Weather's great and perfect. Playing surface looks immaculate as well, so hopefully in for a good game.
These sides, they know each other so well. 5 in a row, I think, now for these sides playing each other in this final. They obviously play each other leagues, Camanachd Cup, and almost every other competition as well. What will that bring to it? There's going to be a few changes in the sides, though, mid-season injuries and everything taking its toll.
Yeah, so I think the fortunate thing for Oban Camanachd is they've probably got fairly big squads, both well-run clubs, obviously, and a lot of youth structure below that. So you can see that this season over the last few weeks that they've probably been managing injuries over the last few weeks, both clubs, and you've seen some younger players come in and do particularly well for both. So opportunity for young players today, I guess, if they get an opportunity during the game. But yeah, it'll be interesting. Just heard the lineup there coming out before we came on air, and it looks like Camanachd have gone quite strong at the back to maybe try and nullify Kingussie's forward line, and I don't know if part of that's down to the previous league fixture. It was clear high scoring game for Kingussie and quite convincing, so quite interested to see how that plays out.
Wel, chi sy'n heg gyda manager rydw mi so Derek Fachgalore na parhaya.
Daniel, we're a week on from a semi-final disappointment, but you'll be hoping to not be thinking about that come, I don't know, 6 o'clock tonight?
Now, well, we said last week we're not going to look into the past, and these big games come really close together, the Camanachd Cup semi-final and the Macaulay Cup. This week's just been about recovery for the boys and mentally lifting them, but they gave us their all, regardless of the result, and they'll be doing that again today.
It was a bruising affair last week. Does that take its toll on your squad at all today?
No, the boys recovered pretty well. We had the boys in the sauna and in the water, lighter sessions, because they've done all the hard work since January, so it's just about getting them recovered and giving the maximum today.
You're not quite sick of the sight of each other, but I think this is something like 6 times out of 7 in the last 7 that Kingussie and Òbain have met in this final. You'd love to get one over on them again.
I seem to repeat myself all the time, but Kingussie and Newtonmore are always going to be about the silverware. If you want to win it, you've got to beat them. It's as simple as that.
Rory, yet another big game in what could yet be a very, very big season for Kingussie. You looking forward to it?
Yeah, very, very looking forward to it. Big games are coming thick and fast. Don't seem to be getting a break. Doesn't feel long ago like I was doing this a few weeks ago. So yeah, looking forward to it.
There are injuries in the squad, a bit of a new look front forward for you guys. Does that change things at all for you and the other players around you?
Not necessarily. Everyone's in the squad for a reason. Everyone knows you come in and work hard, and boys that have came in covering for other boys that are injured, they've came in and they've put in a good shift. So they've earned the right to get a game today, so yeah.
All the teams know each other really well, but yourselves and Òbain have met at this stage so many times now. It's a bit of a long-running saga.
Yeah, fair play to Òbain. They seem to be dominating the south section for quite a number of years now, and we're pretty fortunate to get here a few years in a row as well. So yeah, it's always a good game against them, so looking forward to it.
Rory Brin Mahamein Forstans Corman. Well, it's on Minach na Forstania Gedaske, but agus na Corman if it's ake Gedachan gonna farke. Hikshin in draste. Gurniach Arish, Derek Macaulay.
Tapala talent, Bishin noch is gimme Corman Gilio rounds, gimme third Gilio round. Nuri Sianú tól the vine. About there in that skipping a show can you say Friesman roof, Friesal roch, a Ghiùthsaich, say och minutes in immersion. Van nu tól Ghiùthsaich in the Coimhead of Wonach. Ja, Ghiùthsaich on the play on the Wonach 3 Macaulay, Chupa Mhicamhlaigh, Jahre, the Nation Egalaf. Had Marha, the Chupa Mhicamhlaigh, course you're not Chupa Mhicamhlaigh. Along you, I guess the league has the Fari gave Kujok Stocher. Get a balloon leave has the Sass on the shin, I guess, go be rumpe. On the course you're not Chupa Mhicamhlaigh. Camanachd can open a mach as an arpation, Ghiùthsaich balloon. I guess it be Daniel McVicker, I guess, cluich drink a lead. The Camanachd can open her son. Shinuch a mach as a green nicotoo. The Linton Peepering, I guess drummer. Arts got an open a mach of a Kajok Mossfield. Fesker, Dirach Allen, hey, Bria, and you legge Kustrola to read it back and ye a vine. I agree in the Jarshik and you skill that Ishkissimi. So you get Marhara via the Fark, Vonich, Okenich, Ghiùthsaich, and the Okenich, Camanachd, and Òbain the Bereiche. And again, the Skipian Foush, Keir Blonnegiak. A Hagron, the Gosta who can the Ghiùthsaich. Collection Fescushin, Thomas Borthwick, Nachal Bulloch, Fut, Chacharijmi, Erid, Kach Arish, Hollishin, Malcolm Clark, Govir Lewis, the Shachami in the Park. Camanachd and Òbain in Yakin, attacking in Marval, the Noi Balur and Cleve, in Yakin, Sechai. Grunnen the year can the Ghiùthsaich at James Falconer, Reunion, Kuyu, Roddy Young, Hanylar Fein Shachat, Marachai Gorstoch, and the Gloon, a while. Liam Borthwick, Kujok, Gorstoch, he has formed Connery, Roddy Young, Fraser Monroe, Kujok, Machas, the skipping Achke in you. Camanachd can open a tain, letting in the year. Gary McKerrich, who are Karsharak and Yakin, Sechai Loon, McFarlane, a year, Kujok. I guess Ross McMillan, Gorstoch. There's on the game, the Ghiùthsaich, and you're a Vainky Vine, Harwafatters and Cluich name valued. Harvainky gave in you connection. Bailskushin, got Calm Garvin, for the rookie is an opens, has Ceann. The game's in you. Hurrichamore, you're going to come a Tigers and Arpers, Roddy Macaulay. Coimhead, Macaulay, I guess. Campaign the Oban Camanachd, Kujok, Ulig. Is it holding the prayer line very here, the people in Geneva, Schlier, Falav. I guess in the cluich erin. Just a fast merge in the stock of Chupa Mhicamhlaigh. Rory Anderson skipper can the Ghiùthsaich is on the season so is in the Vabrin when you're Hoshach the game and that's Ronald Rossman on the shin. Sientach met Bilavic is in the game in Leona. Cluich Mahanuri ach had toch gama ri Daniel McVicker is in and that skipper in you wat te doen gele mag is beschitte nielach gewik Daniel Cameron the Vlunachai. Daniel McVicker, Arash, Kopakshi back. I guess I didn't even know what the reach, Daniel Cameron. I could. Stoch is skipping cluich the Shark and there's Daniel McVicker for a village in the Garvey Keir or Son Sule Hammel, Rory Anderson, see up the shit to go pretty gave Climar and this Nigalaf get the Vakilo Grot Carloy McAnoy. Had told the Miskak at that corner howl at that whole night, Balur and Lever in Ghiùthsaich, who is Cameron Kujok Trick. Miskin in a Kurtul gave in Dazen say Daniel Cameron Hain a Vainky gave in you reached. Come 3 card cluiches and that he's in a Ghiùthsaich. Daniel Maddes, Cammy Sutherland, Colcutter McGive in Ghiùthsaich, Marivius, Robert Maben, I guess Rory McGregor, Bob McGregor at the push, can the Ghiùthsaich, Calm Grant, Arash, the Savvy, Schul, Hins under Michi's Kieran McPherson, and Miske, Lokji and Kujok, Elaine Mian Hashin Ho Avishach Ivanish. Thomas Borthwick stoch ar y gorstoch o gyda. Sy'n gynnau sy'n ffyrdd at y yi. Roddy Young, Savio Giannini, Chanila Fytach ar sy'n y feinci. Ha Jack Nelson y Chinishaks, ha Dylan Borthwick y Chile, sy'n y hir dŵr. Fo chlychyd yn Cawnloch Shillig. Fo chi'n Codus Mias. An y Carshall Corsir yn o'ch Cwchbe na Camanachd. Com Garvin, na formalities i yn y finish. Llwag yn Òbain ar yn ddefa hawl. Y nochus, gynny'n y skipig ac yn yw. For Sue Daniel Cameron, the genre and Jack in the High, you know, skipping a live arching, that Yak and Johnny Hoshok, and you know, Valud Hayek Balur and leave it. Who's in Kuyun Marish, Arash, got prepping Bullin Pennis a Hashin, the Karsharak and Nuri Kujok. I guess, but drama around, Balur Hanika Bar, she had the Honeyhis can the Ghiùthsaich on the course in the Chupa Mhicamhlaigh Gach. And you, she course in the Chupa Mhicamhlaigh hacking. Camanachd and Òbain, and now can the Ghiùthsaich. Maar zo'n diafturus aan de schach blione. Kan de Ghiùthsaich het koeken mag als geama hier gewoon. Daar op een bonige meer gerasjon David is 3 herige. De Noringaif. Laten we nog keer in je. Noringer staat toch kan de Ghiùthsaich. Zie het in de nog eens haast. Grand Slam de lijn. Option Pisas. Ach, bij kopen we wonen in je haast. Daar op een. Dan kan de Ghiùthsaich kiezen. Kan de Ghiùthsaich het al. Kan men ze alleen vergelijken met de Ghiùthsaich. Maar ha, samenlijk maar. Kan hem aan. Kan hem bereis gaan jullie vanaf. Kan hem haast. Waar een lare cluich in de gaman kan met Sutherland. Daar je gorken ga je maar zitten mag. Wow. Ka weltje. Fiche chicken schach. Had 3 kormen maar haar wie kan de Ghiùthsaich. Agus heb genjach had de schach. Andy Water in huis kon ruimte. Andy, we barely got a breath back here. Yeah. What a great start for Kingussie.
Yeah, fast start. You know, the ball just broke. Keeper's done great there, Cammy. Ah, fantastic.
Cammy Sutherland. Gapanja kus management. Call it all. Het al fall off. It is in premium handy management reached. The first save is good, and I'm not sure he knows anything about the second save, but it's so important. Just comes off his cannon, and somehow Kingussie don't go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. The first one a great save, and then it's about trying to clear it out the edge of the D and away from danger there. But even that save there, he doesn't know anything about it. Or that one, yeah, I think Lee's probably got to try and lift that roof of the net from that range.
Lee Bain with the second effort. Macaulay with the first effort from centre mid. He's so good at that. You know, he played up front for years, I think, but breaking from midfield, he's been such a threat for Kingussie this season.
He's been a great addition to Kingussie actually, and he's been pretty regular for them. Real threat going forward from the middle of the park.
Dylan Borthwick is 3, is it? Fietjak Carl Gervin, ik staat er Kuchen, I guess Andy Macaulay, je Ghiùthsaich, Oban Camanachd Òbain. Donlach vanaf Rashischach. Thomas Borthwick. Ghiùthsaich hagloon in een vaske gemoor. Sa kish met de Ghiùthsaich ha, de Ghiùthsaich varasa. Zo is een lijne. Gaat Noshan. Daniel Maddy. Chinamach. Zo'n woorgelach gemaakt. That could be some tussle between Lee Bain and Daniel Maddy, 2 kind of heavyweights, massive experience between the two of them.
Yeah, absolutely, Derek, and you touched that word experience. I think you can see that Camanachd are really experienced at back, dropping Daniel McVicker back into the back line as well, so they're clearly trying to match up with the Kingussie forward line and keep them at bay.
Yeah, Andy McDonald too, who played in the centre against Newton Moore, I think. Fucker on the Bukshiva, met Jochen Ghiùthsaich. Hij schreef zich een matken. Gaat door met mijn hoel van je met raas gedaan. Kan nu zie je pakkers haast, maar hij had er wie van hoosjes in je ziet. We gaan daar weer het geleden. En het kan met Ceann geven hussen. En is er zo'n hier door de rinjesker en behalve dat de hoes kan mee in de park. Lewis Cameron. Vijgen weer in je deur. Kan open naar Ghiùthsaich Nelson. Kan de Ghiùthsaich. Cluich Oban Camanachd. Verder staan naar Ghiùthsaich. Maar die kun Cluich. Verder staan naar Ghiùthsaich. Van Nelson tierig voetpik irjerig Ghiùthsaich. Chesser water. Maar die fijn. Kamen er wel naar Hoscher Nelsons verder Noorsen goal in de Navrajach. Manager kan de Ghiùthsaich. Ronald Ross. Kamelsoel uit Knoechen. Kuchen tegen Ghiùthsaich geef. Papi Kingussie. Reading the Gale, that Hosher the game. Got all Macaulay, got nutritionists, Joligen, different Joligen, the good gefeemlisher and decent if yeah. You're back at the further Ghiùthsaich the skipping again. Swinny Grot the fast foot back. Steel. Dat hebben we raken de volgende 3 mag ik keer kochten in deze negalaf. Keer mag ik keer deze vanischen. Kan er hou. Hoe daar hol ik op en jakken zich high in de valuur. Zo is alleen gaan open. Kan nu zich Coimhead. Milogal met een keer McPherson. Ik ga maar nu eens. Er gaan man ik gloeid er in. McPherson gaat door wat de vacurie. De gaman kan karsten weken. Wow, de hoek al hard. Jachaf Hatterson, Thomas Borthwick station. A Chamanachd, Rory Anderson, Doin, sef hyn y falaf o Daniel McVicker yn eich Anderson chwma, na'r amal y gyda'r lar, mae sio chachos dyn i stadar chyfo. Anderson y dol has, Anderson has, yr y lycar, slaici yn dwrs yn Casid yn Sutherland ys y wad, sydd open y falaf. Ac sydd yn hwnnwrt, y gwri Anderson. Na'r amal y gy, mae yw'r falaf orst, chan i'n ddod ein ffasgyd gyflygar. Cwnnwrt y gyllawn y lunish gyda, Camanachd yn Oban. Passion i'r far, gyndu'n i ffasgyd. Mhicamhlaigh, good miles to me. Andy Wharton does. Andy, that's just one of the key core skills really Anderson's game. The minute that he gets the ball in front of him on the ground, he's so hard to stop.
Absolutely, the surface will really suit him today as well, Derek. And as I said, I think Daniel McVicker's probably been there specifically to match up against Rory. So that gives us a little taster, I think, for what's coming.
That really worked for Oban in last year's Macaulay final. Kind of took us all by surprise. Daniel McVicker got taken out to the forward line that day. He was in the centre line last week, but he nullified Rory Anderson this time last year. So far, that's not happened today.
Yeah, it'll be interesting who comes out on top of that particular duel. Yeah, Daniel's such a versatile player. He could probably play anywhere in the park.
Anderson Kujok. Kiesje niet klaar schlie. Wat ik in de geigelaar kon er. Ik training in jagen soort ekere strijker van Daniel McVicker. Shea. Ga je nu ketaap. Er is dat stukje gevaarlijk. Ik kan nu zien voor me kijken. Miele hoe is er de vark. Wanneer klimaat ik het aan die Macaulay het daar vinden mag. Hikke. Kun McPherson had de gelijk zoals aan de Michi stay in de meer in de park. Als het kaart met belog van mij. Je gul die Michi moet je de gelijk. Dan ga je in de narven. Libeen vinden gaan we naar is Daniel Maddy kan we huilen keta. Maddy Genema hier is een Norshan. Jachamach voor een jury het keta. Korme jo has Nelson de Cameser. Andersons Dylan Borthwick. Thomas Borthwick if je gaan we meiden goede de zinnen. Ik ga de Lord han je zin. Zo zal hij even call Macaulay hoe is gaan Norshan. Jachan een vianje riest. McVicker. Gaat voor een jury ja. En Gary Lord mag het hier liggen. Dan de Michi. Kurstater Miss Rika. Kan hoe is in de park. Kan de Ghiùthsaich komen naar het doen, zodat ik leven aan Kingussie. Dylan Borthwick. Gorstig gaat heen en dan kan nog schillig en de koepen Camanachd van hun. Mia is nummer 7, zo hier het game garage. Nelson. Stegen naar Roddy Young in nu. Waar ga je even naar Gronorpik. Dylan Borthwick wil nog Macaulay. Koer vinden ze gezien ha. Arve keer keer McPherson. Cluich naar Lewis Cameron. Laven ik een aghaidh. Get de Cameron heen en door zijn tarik er gaan aan de McPherson. Malcolm Clark goes show. Gaan open. Er ook al mag een live gelief en ja, Connor Howe, daar ik Robert Meeben mag van de wien. Voor Molliga Bobo Ross Campbell, hoe is ik nu? Karim Pier, klopt er in Ghiùthsaich. Ja, ga je mag. Jullie van National Visão. Connor Howe vallen van 0 Kingussie. Vaak Robert Meeben als hij is deze hoekjes. Han begrip hoekjes, zeg. Tykker je nou met kielig. Meeben een lene maal was het de mag van de wien. Zeker 100 east. Hier zal Connor toch stogen. Maar wij is haast ik een open, bij Connor down haast. Hoi, af is het terug. Maar Connor Howe is al lekker. Ik kan nu zich in Macaulay. Gaat door McVicker smaker. Anderson aan skippelte. Hoe is het been? Ik heb het al. Je ziet Dylan Borthwick en Ish. Nelson. Hij kan haast, maar we zouden haar kamer nikken. Gaan je lekker goed erin. Bij u nikken is campagne gaan mega vast benen. Ik zit er gewoon de East. Oban Camanachd threatening at one end, but Kingussie goes straight up the pitch. And I don't think Jack Nelson realises that his man loses his stick there.
Yeah, a wee bit of composure there, and he'd get a wee bit more time in the ball there. Just a wee bit rushed, maybe just a wee bit nails from Jack there, just a big final, being so young. But yeah, a wee bit more composure there. He could have steadied himself and got it on target.
It's been it's been tough for Oban to make much progress, but they managed to camp up there and put a wee bit of pressure on Robert Mabin at the back there for a moment.
Yeah, absolutely. You get to see it was not crowded, but you know there was plenty of pressure from Camanachd there, and it probably suits.
Cameron, it's in Noah's Ghiùthsaich, like Lewis Cameron. Kieran McPherson now is sailing me. I hear a wee rumble of we got a man sent off for that last week. It's a bit more than 10-2. It is a bit of a wild swing.
Yeah, and you can see how that's been brought in to protect players' safety and welfare.
Siacr o cluich an, Charakus Connor who called the Rivot Nagar on the Ghiùthsaich. Shit, fear in the coup, Jacques Alarm. And you're more now than is a cluich and cluich. The Irish Moyishin. Rory Anderson, Rish, Feiner of Alla. And Daniel Maddy, the Lickalish. Fem McCourse, look at that. Maddy, Jenna Homa, Rish, just in the Irrigation. Ferkin Yagin Kun Cluich. Wilson Lavik McVicker. Foulish, Hilmishikaro. Can you calm government? Hanish, Ghiùthsaich. It's only taken 10 minutes for it to warm up a wee bit, but it's definitely warming up a little.
Not just the weather. Yeah, no, absolutely. I just fully committed players against each other. There's nothing in that untoward. I don't think it's just two fully committed players going for the ball. I was going to say earlier on, I think it will suit Kingussie. The game getting stretched a little bit and for them to play into a lot of space for their forwards. I think that's when they're at their best.
Malcolm Clark, Colin Macaulay van the Ghiùthsaich. Daniel McVicker wie Ghiùthsaich Kingussue. Scott Campbell, Jenna Fein Condition of Hoshach and Oban, Catholic to as you see Lord Dickey. Ferhinjagin can clock at you. Joe Cluich, Ghiùthsaich. When you magari get that Ciann Alb Mabin Fein Arashik. When the Ghiùthsaich nach Connor dolle hidig geama skippelt ach an Oban dan Lickalish Fein amach as a whole of Arach. Daniel Cameron will be happy how Oban have settled after that kind of first minute scare when it could have been so easily 1-0 Kingussie.
Yeah, it's fairly even so far. Game's still settling down a bit, I think, as well. No real pattern to it yet.
Bekan Gay on the Moyishin, can you lead Donick at that? Come a 3K larger than Ceann in a far Ceann of Alico. Ceann the golf, Markabig. And you'll Kingussie on the new cat. And you'll still walk below more a year with Javara Cacherich Mearson for the like and more in the Hemain. I check for a new riga. I hope I claim I can open has that you still can open the sharp bullock. And open it Alexander Michi. Ik go all over Sunshine. Cluich. Jarakik Michi. Jinna Marlish. Kingussie have such a wealth of experience and ability at the back there. Callum Grant, who was missing for a few weeks, is back. Robert Mabin doing really well. Alexander Michi, a bit of a rock when he plays.
Yeah, they're all really experienced, solid defenders that have been here, seen it and done it on many occasions. So they'll not panic when there's a wee bit of pressure put on them. And they used to love defending. That's why you're on the park when I played in defence. That's what you look forward to.
Lee Bain, the Cluich's on that should be the far can you do that? I could know he knew. Gamas Shin Borthwick, Tuchek Bain. The volley, a volley, you know, Mach go Nelson. Nelson Khatura Shin Shachater, Daniel Makushkata. Hapani Karoars and Chickashin Makushach when you lose it. Who is the MC Connor How? How Fein Shachat, Miorsh nach Heile Hassan Shin. Oh, Merachashin Le Mabin. Thomas Borthwick, Fiach Newell Goaler on, Sean Maine Park, Susie Yancey Macaulay, Malcolm Clark, who is a line at an Oban.
He's got such a reach, Robert Mabin. It reminds me of Andy Irvine when he played for Kyles at fullback, the longest arms in the world.
It's a bit scrappy, just now. You had mentioned there's no real kind of pattern to it, but it is just that wee bit scrappy. It's Kingussie you can see, are trying to make the most of the space, as you said, but a lot of passes just aren't quite going where they want them to.
Yeah, they've been close on a few occasions to really opening up Camanachd in terms of creating opportunities. Whereas we see Camanachd going to go forward, there's probably a bit more bodies in and around the D, which makes it a little bit harder and easier to defend as a defender.
So Kingussie gyfeisa. Ia'n ffrisiol, gahwgal. Fercyn y clwydd yn yr feinci. Kingussie gyniw, as y fanad, sy'n gyrili'n borthwg asyn as y fanad sgial, chwndig sy'n myhydd. Thomas Borthwg, so as a leine, sy'n mach ar eist. Chwn a trich yn i asyn, never in hwrt a rated it. Sy'n mygra we, a bat y ddara. Mach lys. And the Macaulay, who is Shachvi in the park, for a Camanachd, Malcolm Clark. So as for Lewis Cameron, you see Campbell, Shachadar How, oh, Bob McGregor and Magiriru, who are a shit bullock cash, Marie Miguel. Think look at their chin Shach Favi in the park, and you've got Campbell around the life cluich in the road Favian. Cushion. McGregor it is! Tall! Oh, Bob Mhicamhlaigh, so the ocean Hamerach camp. Schan dan 3 gehachrese, ach sy merach gesyn, like Bob McGregor. Camanachd, for cluich geama stiach in the lien. Camanachd an open at Horshoch. Now, he did so well, Andy, just a wee second before that. We saw the best of Bob McGregor, timing his intervention on the ground. But then this kind of speculative effort comes in, just doesn't get it right.
Yeah, I'll be really disappointed with that. That should be a kind of bread and butter save for Bob and the goals there. Ross Campbell just gets it on target, makes the keeper save it, and gets the goal for Camanachd there. But I think where that came from, Derek, was, I don't know if it was Robert Mayburn at the back there, but they allowed the ball to go through them across the D, put it out for a corner, you regroup. That really started to create the chance that came from.
Yeah, it was good play from Òbain up their right-hand side here. One of the Kingussie players was down, but you know there could have been a chance at the back post there, but they've made the most of that, and they've really, you know, they've turned this round. They've got control of the game just now.
Yeah, they have, and that'll get their tails up.
Ghiùthsaich, Ghiùthsaich, Lee Bain, finishing a Hamadi André, I guess Hamadi Gesturing Mhicamhlaigh. John Magarier, if it Kactir Cahamel Horshocher, Bain Ghiùthsaich stiach. Hanisher Macaulay, Borthwg if he can rain Hickey, Cal Macaulay on the triplech me in the park. Hij gorstig in de praatjes. You might think, Andy, that goal was possibly what the game needs. I remember thinking in the last year's final, Kingussie went ahead early and Òbain played really well, but just couldn't get back into the game, and it kind of finished like that. But now, with Òbain having gone ahead, it forces Kingussie to try and take the initiative of the game a bit again.
Yeah, absolutely. Clearly, plenty of time to go in the game, but yeah, I think that's you need a goal early in the game to give it a bit of spice to it and a bit of atmosphere as well. I think the crowd feels like it's a wee bit quiet as well so far. You hopefully that will get things going in the sideline as well and create a good atmosphere for the rest of the game. But I think, like, even whilst Camanachd have dropped Daniel McVicker back into half-back with that threat of Rory Anderson, and you think they're maybe losing some goals up front with the threat that Daniel is, I think when you look at the Camanachd forward line, the likes of Lewis Cameron, Ross Campbell and Conor Howe, there is goals there and they have been scoring regular, so there still is a threat from Camanachd up there. They've not lost anything up front.
Yep. 15 for Lewis Cameron, 13 for Daniel McVicker himself. Ross Campbell would tell Conor Howe now 12. Ross Campbell 13, I think, for the season, giving that one more. So they are a threat, but Kingussie are clearly a threat as well. But they're coming under pressure at the back, and to a greater extent than we might have expected at one point, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
Steve Origin, me in the park. Camanachd an Òbain Gaigli, Ghiùthsaich Charcuyu. Should there go shachet there? Is under the Michi, stay me in the park. Shall go harder if I calm Grantanist. Calm McLear Asher Hassan. Garak in Hasketa, a gorst to show Calm McLear's can you listen to Mara?
Ready, blown.
Well, they're in the Val. Let Camanachd an Òbain. Tolk Ross Campbell. Ghiùthsaich Horshochsen. Ghiùthsaich Vakor. Corm Kuyuk Kingussie color Hushach is a heat. Jake chicken, cook chicken jerk number shin. Von Ocean get that. Who's in the vineyard of Cormac in Yachan open and Hushach. Ball away of Falavo, Lewis Cameron and Ocean. That Bacanuni goal mach, fucking play on the nega. Kunnen we wel graag cluich. Ciaran McPherson fine aster Glenara is it. Jin Noah Thomas Borthwick Lee Bain at a goal in. Daniel Maddy Crick at the hole then open. Oh wissel. We voerdig mee in de park is. Kan Grant voerlig. Connor Howe. Coudien Pierre. Oen je shinnik. Grant de bal luchtje nul gemeben. Ik nog een ballenpullig gemaakt toch hoe is gemeen in de park. Ik is verder geen vraag dat Daniel McVicker torst korm gaan op en heel ik geef je doel ik Bob McGregor gaan jullie nog persoon het al jullie elkaar nou een Russen. Oban maybe just kind of rotating the forwards a wee bit as well. I think Connor Howe's dropped off a little bit maybe into just in behind the full forward.
Yeah, they're moving across the park. The two wing forwards and Connor has come out as well, so just keeps Kingussie on their toes.
Was Campbell who is now Anderson Feiner Falavo McVicker and Norit. So is Òbain Puth na Graham. Seelt toch met een row. Van Collis aan Caillou. Dat is me Maddy Ghiùthsaich pulach. Ga je naar Ceann? Zeer voel je zo. Ik Kingussie. Ghiùthsaich Dolph McCorster. Thomas Borthwick en Newton je haar Ghiùthsaich tegen Ghiùthsaich. Nelson is Falavo Anderson. Quantitaine Ryan Hickey. Dylan Borthwick. Slike, Sutherland, de Gassen. Ik heb maar gezocht Òbain. Bain, Nelson. Ga je hier eens in Geta. Zijn kormer goal hier kan de UC meer Tuckelerish, Macaulay. Hoe is alleen is Kingussie Nelson. Hoe er knap vijf in de vaart, zeggen ballen. Hij is had een voor de Gassen gezien misschien. Dan wij vijf misschien niet eens. Maar met Toons gaan naar mijn kerst op is. Ja, dat kun je deze toch.
The chances that Kingussie have created so far, they've all been fairly straight at Cammy and goals, and you'd expect Cammy to save that up here. We saw Bob when he should have probably dealt with better as well. But Kingussie probably just need to. They're creating the chances. They probably just need to make Cammy work a little bit hard on the goals. I think
the goal for Òbain. I don't know if the ball maybe moved a little bit, but you know, it's a small ball, it's a small stick, but you would still expect a top-notch goalkeeper, Scotland goalie, to be saving that.
Yeah, absolutely. And you've got to stick to it and just come off into the side of the net.
Perfect. Kenny Ross, ik heb wel uren in te gaan, waar gaan je geen game, ik heb ook schachter, als ik hier het lees, lik, ben je niet verzin. Ja. Dus kan ik er nou, maar ik is. Ryan Kilora zie je hier zo'n Henk, een van de cluich er in de likke gaan halen.
I'm saying that Daniel McVicker wouldn't be a threat up front, but he's managed to be a threat from half-back.
Well, I think, you know, he and Anderson have the mobility to get from one end of the pitch quite easily, and I suppose that's the other threat. You drop Daniel McVicker off to keep an eye on Rory Anderson because of his athleticism and his competitive nature, but also makes Rory Anderson do a bit of defending maybe that he doesn't necessarily want to do.
Making him work back the way rather than forward, no, absolutely. Yeah, two extremely fit individuals.
I think Colin McLeay's got a big problem here. He was the injured player earlier. I think it's him who's down again, and he's definitely feeling that ankle. And Kingussie, they're not. Maybe, but I think particularly if there's a question mark over Thomas Borthwick's fitness, he's wearing a big knee bandage as well. They've got Ian Fraser on the bench, but they're not necessarily blessed with a lot of experienced midfield options.
Yeah, it's quite a young bench for Kingussie. Clearly feeling the effects of some injuries within their squad, but they want Callum to stay on, or even make him off for a wee bit, see if he can recover and get him back on. But I've always been impressed with Ian when he's come on for Kingussie in the past, and they'll not lose anything with him coming on.
It's McLeod Dawson who's being readied, I think just now, 17-year-old who was away with Scotland under-17s over in Ireland recently. He's not a small player, he's a big, strong-looking boy. Craig Dawson's son, I believe, and you know, he looks like he's got the physical presence to make his presence felt in midfield. Ísú Crisha Colach, Macaulay Dawson Maha, it Nachikal Macaulay, a Katkuka of Halaf. Thomas Borthwick Doshache Geneviain, ik Macaulay Dawson, de moeie de Gleich, Cluich. Welcome Clark. Eentje nog echt kunnen. Anderson. Fall of McVicker Rijsketa. Anderson het al haast. Anderson gaat door als like bij de Vakuri. Corman haast. Borthwick go uit. Dylan Borthwick hier gaan door. Pikken gaan halen. Zander Michi. Kwalken nooit recruisen meer in de park. Bal is neer. Camanachd. Bal er al aan Rijsketa. Fall of Lauren Dickey er als je gehool. Michi Liantin. Hoe is er de vark? Makush voor je bewoor. Er een puchtoer reed. There's a really good battle developing here between Rory Anderson and Daniel McVicker. Again, Anderson just gets ahead of him and you just can't get near him when he's running with the ball.
Yeah, that's 2 or 3 occasions he's managed to get turned on Daniel and run with the ball. As I say, the playing surface is immaculate, so it'll suit Rory. You have to say that Camanachd have defended Everton, they've been asked to defend so far, really.
Had Ghiùthsaich de Kingussie hier voelig in de game gewoord hebben. Al zag het er Cammy Sutherland. Je kunt je naar de kormen hoor. Liebener. Oh, Joma, gaan open. Kormen Jo, 4 korm. Kormerlje. Evo, le Camanachd open. En je mag wel eens kaag. Er vinkie. Ik hoor hier rotte in assission. And you take in. Bit of a shout from Oban's bench there for a free hit, but they've got the corner ball.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's the diving tackle as the player into the D. Great bit of play from Camanachd. Split Kingussie's defence open with just a simple ball.
Michi. Campbell now. Maybe Jyn Kingussie nach Burin ga. Lauren Dickey chown tegen de zin. Dan gaan we goed nervig. Spikken hier niet. Campbell dan nul. Je ziet Dickey chown tegen mij. Cluich er vaardig kach gaan. Dickey kunnen karen. Anderson Jenna Mangerine nou gedaan. Maar hou, ik kan wel maar zitten Zander Michi, gaan wij zeggen er McVicker, voor Anderson is jager geskippeld te keta. Dylan Borthwick, nu dan gaan we een jager. Maar fijne voet is er wat, gaan je kan niet tillige zijn kloetje, I guess. He can go genoeg nou, we lijntje. Sometimes, if a player's been out for a few weeks, like Dylan Borthwick, you think they might be a wee bit rusty and not quite at it, but he's not shy of physical confrontation, even though he's been out. But this was, should this have been a free hit out there, maybe?
No, I don't think so. He's stretching for the ball, but he does get the ball. I think they were shouting more because he was going to ground.
Yeah. I'm just going to speak to you.
He does play it before he reaches the ground. He's not really endangering himself, I suppose.
No, it didn't look that way at all.
Ciarán McPherson of Allen, Ghiùthsaich. Gewolleer hier te zeggen in de game. Daniel Cameron is skipping again. Hoshach Kingussie. Camanachd doing the better of the 2 teams at the moment. Just thinking generally as well about Kingussie, they've got such an injury list now. Cal Macaulay being injured as well is a blow for them with, you know, numerous big games coming up.
Yeah, absolutely is. They've got a lot to play for this season still. But I think you're right. I think Camanachd will probably settle the better team.
Liebein Fiachin, Daniel Maddy Likalish. Applaar naar mooie zin akkoord in plan. Rory Anderson naar Daniel McVicker. Liebein en Daniel Maddy Kujok. Van de Kassen, Candy Macaulay. Zit er weer van over. Macaulay Dawson ook. Schachter Anderson, I guess er McVicker, Trenken Nelson. Ach, Daniel McVicker fijne gaan met een sjaag. Anderson is féin Kingussue, Iasol leis, bualig fan y clwch yn y Òbain, Ghiùthsaich ys ylmi, Madé yn y Ceinteach nach geama bwlwch hast, sy'n ymach leis golager, ni benes i ei, yn y Ceinteach nach eif cwsrwad ar falad leis gyda. It's a really good battle between Lee Bain and Daniel Madé, who's maybe just getting the upper hand in it at the moment.
I was just going to say that. I think Daniel started the game fantastically well, and I know he's not been playing a huge amount this season.
He was outstanding last week as well.
Aye, but his experience is just second to none, and you can see that today. I think it's been brilliant so far for Camanachd.
Maybe, I don't want to, insult the man, but it maybe suits Daniel Madé that Lee Bain is up against him. They're both on the wrong side of, 25-30. I think Daniel's just over 30, I think. So they're not necessarily the fastest, quickest players. So they'll match themselves up quite well.
Yeah, and you can see that Lee brings experience obviously as well. And but it's all about, I think, between the two of them, it's who gets to the ball first is the key bit. And Daniel's coming out on top at the moment.
Het hele goed komen zo anders kunnen bal lachen. Ian begelen. Gaan Lee Bain keer weer vast krijgen. Ik ga hal. Spikken Ian. Nelson voor goedje met Macaulay. Hannes Loge na. Nelson tot Chupa Mhicamhlaigh. Gegammel tol. Daniel Madé in de schach. In de mag kon er Lee Bain de jens erin. Het horsje de riest. Impi een open schoketa. Bal Kelly gewoon van de vaartgadigen. Hoor je met Kachern in de verhaal. Kachern de cluich is jacht of koers er nog ik is in een narperse. Gewoon holt in jachtke. Shia, schach, keer koek, koersen er nog een narperse. Ulige jodig. Gewoon vat. Sanjegaiv. Die had de Ceann is Sanjegaiv maar een woning gezet. De weg het er hierig nu er hoog. Ach, als je nu tol account ik in hier is het. Tol Camanachd kan open tol ik was Keimpel.
Yeah, the hand in the back come.
Laf naar Green hier weten het. Borthwick, Iasol, kan ze been gewoon nog dan ik go. Dylan Borthwick er wel klaar. Pikken de geven we gaan de Ghiùthsaich. Dylan Borthwick komt er ze weten het. Ja, kan Gervin gaan we achter Macaulay is in kata. Iasol, Ghiùthsaich Connor Howe rash. Ver mee in de park. Kan Grantje de man uit kata. Schieningen mag. Om afgeli. Dus je gaat maar nou. Campbell. Like Mabon, erin mag Ghiùthsaich. Good timing there from Mabon again. Both fullbacks have been so good at that, just knowing when to come, when to get the stick in.
Just get the stick in, stop the attack.
Camanachd kan open, hoe is er vaak gedaan? De Huchtje Ravin, de Ghiùthsaich teuf. Hier bevoren zo ermee gebeuren actie aan nu. Dus een huwa kwam, dus een huwa Camanachd al. Bezit er wat begeerlijke. Kan er houder hier in de mag gaan en doorsen als een goal. Je Camanachd kan open. Maybe January is good mailer. We say Ross Campbell Callian of Lish. Colm Kyle to go here is in Camanachd kan open. Schach pulje van Norsen, pulje van de Ghiùthsaich is aan. Shai Rigoalik. Malcolm Clark. Gary Lord en die Ashker is in Nisht. Schach de Lord Gaia, maar piece maar. Schach en weer in de park in. Lee Bain, die meestig. Voor Andy Macaulay, genoeg hoshach, maar Bain de Noorsen kan willen Borthwick, chantig mee Madé, van Madé, bio genoeg 100. Goed er in nou, graag een jiffer. Hannuvillian, a Daniel Maddy, Fain Lavan Walker. Lord is in, who is Òbain Nisht. Meben, Roshach Ruchlugider, a Chayashach, there is in Ross Campbell, Fain Gunnevala, Camanachd, Baller Falav, McVicker, Fain Lavan Walker, Anderson Noorsen. Campbell Noorsen, Kujok. Cluich van Meben, who is it a vaak? Nelson as he ate, Macaulay on Horshoch. Smach, Camanachd nop and cushion in the rest. Borthwick.
Watch.
Cluich who is Òbain. McKechern is Dylan Borthwick. Who goes in for Smach, Green. Go Anderson. Bain, Dolla Maxarata, Anderson. Ghiùthsaich, Tuchia Shok, McLeod Dawson. Anderson go goal. Shachluich der heen a Lika. McLeod Dawson Cymil Chaman Rish. Tuchia Shok me in the park. Coyon Hoshachike. Vori McKechern a hand. Ghiùthsaich the Ghiùthsaich. McKechern a Rish. Fain. Balig a heen. Shachan vi en Bain. Nothing a Choltig. Bain a Choltig. Farah Chaman. He can mach. Pipulli van Oshan. Can the Ghiùthsaich. Better spell for Kingussie there. Some of the big players get involved, and McLeod Dawson as well. Almost had things opening up for him.
Yeah, I don't know it's his own man that took Rory out there when the opportunity came there, but yeah, a bit better from Kingussie up front there.
McLeod Dawson, again. Dawson, dus gleich, van ma, Kujok, van Camanachd, de Gandhi Macaulay, dus aan de stad. Als ik jong. Sander Michi, Cachauder volley, Cormiller Laar. Macaulay. Iomain, again we see Lewis Cameron, doing Gariru at a vark. Kein Bloche Canainis, Ross Campbell, Gary Lord, Kareem Piers, Sander Michi. Maddy, again Haynes, stay me in the park avor. Heb je de bulje vaak jullie gedaan. Ga fors nog de Vriesje vader aghaidh. Mag een geleeg is. Bobo Campbell, mag een nos en Ross Campbell. Ja, die hier het GG geval Caleen. Goal in. McVicker, Fain Lavan Walker, Anderson Noorsen. How? Campbell, Choltig, Thomas Borthwick Ash. Kan de Ghiùthsaich geen val af. Nelson. Bain, larger. Wel mag een gelegen is. Dylan Borthwick al terug naar had again. Servulje de hand Kujok. Kingussie started shuffle things a bit. Lee Bain going to the wing. Dylan Borthwick through the middle.
Yeah, just hit the point you're making earlier on. I think Derek, maybe Ronald's seen that and wanted to switch it a wee bit and try and change things up because it just wasn't working really, I don't think.
Although the first time Dylan tried to turn Daniel Maddy turned and got there ahead of him.
Yeah, absolutely. I thought it was noticeable in that wee passage of play was the Oban Camanachd halfbacks really getting to the ball first and quite a bit of space. So I think Ronald will be wanting his half forwards, wing forwards to get to the ball first, and that's where you can dictate the play up front. If you don't get the ball first, you can't make the play.
Thomas Borthwick van de Kassen en Lee Bain. Jo, Caman Gunneval, Kujok, ik gaan halen. McLeod Dawson. Tot soon for the goal. Koha catch, ha Nelson en nog gegaan. Nelson, Davil on the riet. McLeod Dawson, Shaq Gia Gavine. Gigi Niggin is ook. Kan de Ghiùthsaich nu. Caman je Burley. Borthwick, Katkook, Itchine Machas. Oh, a shot. Derevenish, Shalmer, Kamel Gloin. This looks bad. Now, hopefully it's not. Dylan Borthwick's just back from injury. He's got his knee strapped. He's feeling this immediately. And another injury is just the last thing Kingussie need. Maybe just how he comes. We're guessing to say, but he's not a hit around the knees. It must just be the way he moves or comes down in it. It doesn't look good though, the way he went holding his knee immediately.
Not at all. He went down pretty quick there holding the knee and he looks like a lot of pain. So the last thing Kingussie need.
Carl Macaulay, Erigostach, Savio Giannini, get all the Ganish or something yet in the Dylan Borthwick. I mean, more than able substitution. I mean, Savio Giannini's already on for Dylan Borthwick. Whatever the issue is here, they want to get Dylan Borthwick off to have a look at it, just assess him anyway. But Savio Giannini coming on is no. weakness, except there's a question mark over Xavi Giannini's fitness as well.
Yeah, it's really how Ronald manages his squad today now, with the injury starting to pile up a little bit for them.
Ceann, hwn cael dod na nwy. James Faulkner i gi fat úne, ga wees in de cluich in deze zit. Ha fe me op lawn sig i Ronald go, we gaan 3 gachkinnen. Ha Roddy Young kujok er gostach, is in me goorstach, ha gloon kiolach na gewoon ga cluich in nu. So Dylan Borthwick, ga gostach nou kan nog silligen pakken gachkinnen. Collis Edison gele fesker ke shachat kujok. Hishin, so ga chillig. We do have the rolling subs. If that isn't as bad as anybody fears, he could make a reappearance, but 40 minutes in, 2 subs done. Gaan je kalm Grant aan? Gaan je zender Michi? Hier is hij benen knui. Oh, Anderson. Ja, het lijkt dat Cameron als er wat gedaan kunnen maken. How we reach fiach and besmach Haporinga get that. Bain. Giannini Licalish. Well, Harwa Licalish a higher shachater.
Just feel the ball's not quite breaking for Kingussie when they're getting the opportunities. Not like Lee to top the ball there. Usually such a clean hitter of the ball.
Yeah. It's Colin McClay getting strapped up. Dylan Borthwick kind of hobbling round. 2 subs gone. We're still 4 minutes short of half time, and that's kind of almost his options really that he's already had to use.
Yeah. Yeah, he'll probably want to get in at half time, regroup, see how bad they are, and have a bit of a plan for the second half, Ronald, I'd imagine.
Ian Frischel, the Ravenki, George Taylor Ramsey, Rory Monroe, Gia Carille. Fraser en Ninjas Jolly gachke, gaan je lach play on the richted geta. Bal kon er toch in de wien, die krijgt gestogen. Ja, Cameron. Dus Falavle, Calm Grant. Connell terug maar in dat er Dawson, Agus Grant. Dylan Borthwick, Herash Ravenki. Slijk toch een in de schach. In de verhaal. Je kassa van de watersje. De camera kan open. Stel me gereden. Bob McGregor in de macher gewoon. We willen toch hier heeft gaan de Ghiùthsaich gaan jullie samen hier zien. Hier zal Schach, Ghiùthsaich het huil, Schach er Nelson ga je kata. Thomas Borthwick vind ik gaan met zijn water. Oh, Anderson Genema, toch niet tussen de huil is gewoon vatter van af. Maar dan je dat je de winje voor nu gaan het krijgen in dinje. Just 2 little drops of the shoulder and he's not far away here at all, Rory Anderson.
No, not at all. He's managed to wriggle free from Daniel McVicker there and create the opportunity, but yeah, there'd been a perfect time for Kingussie to go in with their tails up a little bit after losing a couple of players. It would just give them a boost before half time.
Goedemiddag, Cammy Sutherland, Cameron kan open. Ja, het is een haaster, Horschach. Is een hole, de cross Keimpel. Is J.D. Schach met een chintje nummer zijn. Door een gromere schrijven gaan hem misschien al. Kun je goed nummer zijn, man. Maar kan de Ghiùthsaich het Horschach in de jaar. Dan ga je dat er naar zijn groeg van Oorsen. Ga je dan open en warrak zijn hier niet. Cammy Sutherland er savelig naar je en we zien hier het. Gramoren ik Bob McGregor hier en we gaan. Het hole, ga je Schach het er. Ar te voel voor de gamen ga je Schach in de lien. Fishing haast, kan was Campbell dat. Jackson for the Nurigad. Camanachd an Òbain, being her Madishik. Kingussie stoch a fiachinir. Hier wordt de jonge saus is rouge. Kutje hogle. Gloin Dylan Borthwick a faskis. Package goed. Nelson, I can Kingussie. Iomain kun Connor to meet Cami Sutherland. Sy'n Òbain cwrt cwrs dal Ghiùthsaich, Cainig. Fat ga Cynnioni ar hosioch y balwyd yn leif, go ma fasgyd dirig I gêm yn hacyn tachai. Da efo net iag yr agal yn rehwyr Stephen Macaulay I hyd tol Ghiùthsaich y falwyd. Tucht na grei mission van Nelson Larcher gyda'r sy'n sies y fice ach van ach cwys. Campbell. Fysgol y gysio ga. Iomain. Faran tarakach. Chaneg a bwloch e gyda. Joe like. Sé ga chola caltirach. Scolt gyda fi alw. Macvicar fein y chamanir o'r hosioch ar Anderson. Macaulay Dawson. Yr dynnu glif a fahanig ar y ffar. Gyda gyda. Brym yn fein y Kingussie ni braich efo cael yn gael narn y sgybig achgys yn tirach ar y scolt gyda'n rast. Le clwch I dryn I fi hir I hyd sgybig. Sans er sinne hat down. Cool woord, je kies nie getakele darne skipig achkes in dollapi. Gaan jullie geleerde vlugje daarna genieten, maar er zo'n daar skipig gaan met al. En in deze zijn je gaat wie gaan een skipig achke. Kom er zinder, maar ik kies naar achter ook hier is een hele bruig. Als je krijgt koeike warak, ga je niet zien. Dan kan je zich wel een bullock kersen in de grill. Als nu kun je die knachten net in de warak zo. Dylan Borthwick de gorste gekalme kleer de gorste goed. Lee Bain de karmen is Kingussie. Bain gaat door en gaan maar ga je lukken. Reed kalm Gervin ze reed. Kingussie gaan je tinje. Dat doe is Jarak. Ik kan me naar knop en ik wil dat er is ook het daar. Gaat door en door beschacht maar hier van Noors nu love naar Graham van die Macaulay guess. Gaat Thorsten Korm. Kingussie, wie gaat je mag? Ja, graag. Geef ik er sniks, geef ik er Daniel McVicker. Kan heen het PL dus Savio ha graag. Borthwick. Oh, gaat een fatte val weg. Fatte geloor. Schavito laun. Joe Korm van Goeprich het gemaakt hè. Kuisner. Gloos het geschoten. Skushoolach. Ach, Haporin Thomas Borthwick, een goedje schar goal je. Korm keiltjes toch? Kingussie toch een Kormierige geweest achter hier het. Zal Maxen wij hier Korm goed ook je bakken je kan. Chicken koek chicken jerk. Wat ik maar zien. Korm Macleay's Noorse Ghiùthsaich Bain nach Cami Sutherland. Good kus fysieke mee in. Savelde gaan Òbain. Skagshit, dat is fysical schijf goal hoe is het vaak begin de station agus het doel een Ross Campbell een Reinchen Bobo Campbell gevoelig voor peace gemaf had de mag agus bij Bob McGregor het er een push ja Kingussie Mhicamhlaigh lemmer ga ja verder gaan met niks in de schach gaan de lien tolik Campbell gaan good se bi ach Camanachd Òbain gaan in de goede schar in die hier het hasje een Kormen aan de Kingussie haast ach het is er gorse gach kujok Colas eentje nog, ga weer een darnje. Leach schlier zo ook Mosfield. Camanachd Òbain de hun. Kingussie en Johnny.
Until of sin for Ross Campbell, the general Jiffer is scarig skipping the last Andy, you've come back down and it's been a first half that literally has gone end to end. No real pattern, as you said, through it, and no real team, for the whole half at least, having that possession that they would maybe want.
Yeah, that's the way the first half's kind of played out there. But I think obviously 1-0 to Camanachd at the moment. I think obviously Daniel Cameron will be the happiest of the two managers at the moment. And I think, to be fair to Daniel, his tactics and his lineups worked so far. So I think they've defended everything they've had to defend, with Daniel McVicker and back onto Rory and a good match up there. Daniel Maddy coming around bringing experience at full-back, but there's still been a threat going forward. So I think whilst there's no real pattern of domination, I think Camanachd will clearly be the happiest because of the result, but also the way they've been playing in terms of the performance.
And you say the happiest, they have got that goal ahead. We'll have another look at it at the moment. And you said at the time, and a goalkeeper like Bob McGregor probably not happy with how this went in, but on the Ross Campbell side, he'll be over the moon. Yeah, absolutely. You tell young players starting the game, get the ball on target, make the keeper save it, because there is always that opportunity to do it, you know. So yeah, Bob will be really disappointed, and it's a poor goal to give away, to be honest. But I think Camanachd are probably slightly worth it. You know, whilst it's been fairly even, I think Camanachd are probably just edged it in terms of the performance in the first half. The first half started difficultly for Oban Camanachd as well, though. Even just inside the first 60-90 seconds, they had 3-4 maybe chances that could on another day have put them ahead, and that changes the whole game had they got any of these goals early. Yeah, absolutely. I think I said in commentary as well, you just feel that the ball's not quite breaking for Kingussie in the front of the goals type thing. You know, Lee Bain in at full forward to create some chances there, and you know, there's 2 or 3 saves there by Cammy Sutherland. Doesn't know much about 2 of them, I don't think, but yeah, you know, Kingussie are still a threat, and you've seen Rory Anderson create a couple of opportunities. So yeah, listen, there's a long way to go in the second half, and I wouldn't call it yet. Pretty even in terms of the opportunities that we created. But Kingussie will be a worry with injuries that they've had in the first half as well, to disrupt their lineup. I'm sure Cammy Sutherland will tell us he knew exactly what he was doing for all of those saves, and well, if you believe him or not, that's up to you at home. But you know, you mentioned Rory Anderson there. He then had that other chance just before the end of the half there, and it's one of those, again, like the goal for Oban. On the other hand, the other side of the post, it would have been so difficult. Yeah, absolutely. We've seen Rory put those away so often in cup finals, you know, so probably disappointed he's not hit the target from there. He's done really well to get away from Daniel McVicker here, and a bit of a kind of turn and create a couple of yards just to get a bit of an angle, to be fair, but he should still be hitting the target from there, just like Ross Campbell did from further out, you know. So yeah, that changes the half-time team talk. That goes in a wee bit as well, and gives Kingussie a bit of a lift if it goes in. So as I say, I think there's a slight breeze. It's maybe dropped a little bit, and that'll be Kingussie's back in the second half. But I think the biggest concern for Kingussie that we've touched on in commentary clearly is the injuries so far, and how that's disrupted their lineup a little bit. You mentioned those injuries, and also Daniel McVicker. He's been all over the place, but he's had a whole host of different players, both against him and against the whole Oban backline. From Ronald Ross's point of view and Kingussie's point of view, just how difficult will it be to manage those injuries? They've already had to make 2 substitutions, and they were going in with a forward line that wasn't necessarily their first choice forward line on paper. Yeah, so I think they've managed some of those injuries clearly over the last few weeks in the league, and they've managed to continue that winning streak. Obviously this is a cup final, so a bit of pressure on them. It's a slightly different bit, and there's some young players in the squad that the pressure of a cup final is slightly different from a league match. So big second half for those young players that have come on for Kingussie, and they still have on the bench. Ronald won't be panicked at the moment. You know, it's only 1-0. There's all to play for in the second half. It's not like they're out or anything like that. They just need 1 goal to change the momentum of the game, and I'm sure they'll be talking about that in the change room at the moment. And they know as well that Oban last week were 2 goals ahead and still managed not to get over the line. So they know both Kingussie are strong so often late in matches, and they've got that confidence of knowing, well, Oban might be a bit nervy. Yeah, absolutely. You know, and if we talk about the chances that Kingussie created, there was quite a number of chances. Probably struggling to think about a raft of chances that Oban Camanachd created, apart from Bob's mistake for the goal. So he'll be feeling the wind at their back. They'll go in there, just as you touched on. Kingussie get a goal, what does that do to the mentality of Oban Camanachd, having lost a really close game last week and a massive game in the semi-final of the Camanachd Cup? So the whole dynamic can change on goals. As we say, goals change games, so the next goal is absolutely key, though, I would say, you know, in the match. Well, bydd sy'n sŵl yn eisiau ydryd yr ein sy'n tronsiach gan le Chupa Mhicamhlaigh yn Òbain agus, wel, chachan mi'n gawr y drastach. Hi siw na hatach yr stach gysyn. Got it, Macaulay. Go back.
Cammy McMillan, utility player. Craig McMillan, Ceann. Ian Scally McMillan, my man. Other camera, Shaggy. Come on. Run over, Shaggy. Run over. Here's McMillan, winger. But that's a gas man. Brave. Corner House, win ya. Kel McMillan, bit of him too. David McMillan, Lockside manager. Cammy Turner, goalkeeper. Forward. Down back, a striker.
Wel, Chupa Mhicamhlaigh yn Òbain fiach yn Ghiùthsaich y fadgetársing chydach ag dyniach y fôl y gach stoch y basgyd Daniel Machgefiwchgyd a hyn agos Daniel Maddy ddi fi chog cwtramach ag y chŵl gas Chupa Mhicamhlaigh yn Òbain y ganians gydwydd Daniel Machgefiwchgyd gyda striker y fan chanial cluich ag striker y dw. We saw in that piece Daniel McVicker described himself as a striker. Nobody told him on the park today. Himself and Daniel Maddy so important at the back.
Yeah, I think Camanachd defended really well in the first half there. I think they've clearly come with a game plan, probably worked on it through training through the week. But yeah, I think Andy McDonald and Daniel Macouche have been excellent at the back as well. But I think the two stands out for me at the back are absolutely Daniel McVicker and Daniel Maddy. Daniel Maddy brings bags of experience to the back, and you know, I think he won pretty much every ball against Lee Bain there to start off, and he matched up well against Dylan Borthwick. Once they did Kingussie kind of switched that to try and make a little bit of a change. But Daniel McVicker, as I said, I think he can play anywhere on the park. He's such a versatile all-round shinty player, and a really classy shinty player as well. And you know, actually, he called himself a striker in the half-time VT there. He had a shot at goals there from half-back, so extremely fit, really tidy technical player, that great attitude as well. So I think him for me is probably, and Daniel Maddy at the back, have really been key for Camanachd.
Wel, chi sy'n je hachris ys darnali, hag y fi gymaint yn o'ch ffaicin co hi gybar, co yw na lafnach gyda y chwpa, as y gyda'n Derek.
Tafel at y chalwm. Mae'n Kingussue, holding i'r asir y ffac. Chanich mi. Gylachris y mil ydy fi iawn. Crwytw chan y Ghiùthsaich at gawn drwyniad. Ian Fraser, Rory Monroe's, George Taylor Ramsey has dulig na'n sisif sylw mi. Cluich na park. Òbain. Ar y fad cwtioch sylwi. Lee Bain. O, fa ffydd chwarae mae synig Lee Bain's. Fa corig y Johnny Biar sylwi mae eisiau. Lys y nŵn y fici. Lel y gwbri sy'n na afer. Fa corig Lee Bain, Johnny Biar eisiau. Hwchtig a gysgol cwysig ar norsyn. Agos an y systiach agos y roa. Fa corig y Johnny Biar. Andy, that replay is the first time you've been able to see that. You've just come in the door. But Lee Bain's ability, you would expect him with that amount of time to do better.
Yeah, and we've said it a few times, Derek, about hitting the target, you know. So yeah, I'll be really disappointed not to hit from there. Great opportunity to come out with a bang in the second half.
Everybody caught a bit cold, I think, including yourself. Andy, if you can analyse your ash, Jean-Ist. Camanachd yn open ar y golf hwys yr y ffarc at ein nish gyr i golf pys nes at hag fod bygnes lag yr eich syl mi na fa hanel cwys o'n has gyda hanel cwys ein chast hanel chomos y fai lag yn yle fasyn i sio so is a line Campbell Siachan Fiain, gaan wij kan er uit belogen, kijk het dat. Reer Falaf, voor je, gaan negen vasker. Geen bloggerie zit er nu. Milig, goeie gorken, ga ik aan de Ghiùthsaich. Zijn er wat nopperikken, gaan we naar knop en moeite gelijk. Je zou Janini haast ik al aan ja. Gaan de Ghiùthsaich, benen gelijk. Maar het is een borthwick garage maken de varkensje. Sa Jack Nelson a goal, yeah. Just sportingly, that Dylan Borthwick is back out there for Kingussie the second half. So Ronald Ross definitely feels comfortable enough to have him back on.
Yeah, maybe it was just a little bit of a twinge in the knee, and if you're carrying a bad injury as well, I think sometimes a wee tweak you can get quite a fright with it as well.
Shachar Borthwick. En dat is een tegen constel sa kwanta boys in kerskilor. Schon hoor ik join Jack Nelson a hier kan de Ghiùthsaich van de hier, ja. Voor Mhicamhlaigh, 50 liter max erwaard. Gary Heshen, manoeuvrenneke. Scott Campbell, Gary Heshen. Mhicamhlaigh had a finish of Ghiùthsaich.
It's a full tilt and camera. That was well lit. That was a hit. It was hit high. That was high.
En dan wordt Mhicamhlaigh een keer terug. Dan gaat Calm Gervin gemaakt voor de show. She is at a lot haast. Scott Campbell. Gary Heshen. Ankles kind of get in the way when you're playing shinty sometimes.
Yeah, you've got to be well protected.
I didn't think this was quite as late as Calm Gervin was saying. Well, probably proven well wrong here.
No, I think the ball was there to be played. He's clearly missed the ball, and a number of players round about the tackle and stuff like that, which can happen. I don't think it was deliberate or anything. He definitely went for the ball, I think.
Gary Yakuyu. Geen belach. Eerst een makkelijk gelijk.
Oi! Hier is.
Maar Mhicamhlaigh kan het zien. Maar nu is het nog eens krachtig in de wieg gaan. Gary Lord. Lee Bain, Ghiùthsaich veel. Oh, je bent je man hoor, John de Gervallavach. Ga je leven, Kamali Daniel Marcus in de schach voor een geleedje zo'n al de groene geef. Hier is het zoals alleen. We gaan naar knopen. Kan de Ghiùthsaich het al van een live gliegen, een live yes en de rest. Kan de linie. Gevaarkischen. Hopen kan het kan de walen. Schön voor de onderaas. Gaat je gevatten. Wat al haast gedaan. Hou. Kun je geen zeggen dat er kan grantig. Graag kunnen maken de gelijk. Lord. De waar lekker legend. Zander Michi. Ga je even eens goed. Skip je terug 4 gele. Moet je nog kiezen weer. Ronald Ross is een chick. En hier zijn de hachres als ze zo. Scott Campbell. Goal oorlog zijn zo. Ja, Òbain. Kan je blok wissel leunen. Ghiùthsaich Camanachd. Ghiùthsaich Cameron. Lewis Cameron. Eerst al. Oh, sabelig maar. Bob McGregor kan me huilen. Sheeding gemaakt gegaan. Ghiùthsaich Shachar de Vost. Zwaar terug. These bobbly ones must be a nightmare for goalkeepers. He does really well just to keep his eye on it.
Yeah, he does. That's a great save from Bob. You know, we probably criticised him a little bit with the goal, but that was a great save.
Go ahead. it bounced
It was
and went
bobbling
over.
quite a lot coming in the goal there.
Camanachd. Well, had the doel. Ceann Michael had the Ghiùthsaich and the Coimhead Gersh. I think it's apologise for anything anybody might have heard. Clearly, one or two in the Oban ranks not entirely in agreement with the officials here. Pretty sure that should have been a corner ball.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Bob saved that. You can't tell anybody now.
Òbain. Trying to get a follow Andy Macaulay. Bain. ESL. Shachat. Good mind to me. It was interesting to me there when Oban had the free hit over to our left, quite far up in the pitch. When Ron Ross was shouting, he was shouting to his forwards, saying, "Go away, get up there." Obviously wanting the game to be a bit longer, to just stretch the pitch out a bit.
Yeah, if you look at the way it's set up in the second half, when they've not got the ball, they've got Rory Anderson against Daniel McVicker out to the half forward line, but the other three forwards are right in as close. He's clearly trying to get the ball as close to the Camanachd goal as possible, and kind of cut out that middle area.
Gammons Shachat er holt in je maat, hoe is gaan een truurige nooi. Moes Cameron. McGregor, Chinamach, Sitsuile Gamalir. Fas, kleedje Gammon, karantje, gaan ik taschen hier is een rotbek. Gapan van de kleedje Hanika, zo van de kleedje Korike, China. Nog eens keer kiel, tik naar mijn kiel nog. Look at the slice on. Oenius in de Gary Lord. Cameron gaat doorheken. Toriba. It's funny, managers, coaches are all different. Daniel Cameron is quite vocal. He does a lot of shit, does a lot of talking. You can tell he's a teammate of them to some extent still.
Yeah, and the flip side of that is Ronald's quite quiet. I was just thinking about that at the same time actually, but yeah, no, he certainly tries to motivate the players, Daniel, and get them going.
Kingussie Kingussue falaf, gaat je fatten. Rory Anderson fiachin wie in de kindje kun je het je bulloch. Satosa sam gema vind de gaan je de riest. As je heen. Dylan Borthwick in de hand. Jo Borthwick zo kujok. Zeg sloch kwik is vaak is in galava van de Camanachd. Borthwick agus Macaulay in de magari nu. Borthwick de finish zo hoger som later goed naar Graham. Ik kan nu now. Now I'm not sure that a fully fit Dylan Borthwick is getting overtaken by Daniel Macaulay in that way.
Yeah, he's probably not 100% fit there, but no, Daniel does well to get back, and then it's just the hand in the back gives a bit of a cheap foul away, to be honest.
I'm probably doing Daniel Macaulay massive disservice. He's maybe faster than him every day of the week.
He's a great player, Daniel, very tidy, great stick work.
Cammy Sutherland at in the Machers on show go all heen. Macaulay agus Borthwick at east. Oh, Anderson. Doing me as they get Macaulay. Anderson ni Sharilish. Shachavi in the park at east. Oh, Janini Yachanor, Bain station hast. Bain agus Andy Macaulay. Copper and I Heelishin, Haruli Bain Tolich, Nisha Hamanya Vashin. Again, Rory Anderson showing his worth. It's the Lee Bain's not happy with, I think Andy McDonald, he feels was a wee bit wild with a swing.
Yeah, I didn't really see it too clearly there, but just the way you look here.
It's there to be won.
Yeah, and to be fair, he did get it.
Who are Cameron in the ball?
Played advantage, you were right through.
Just shows the threat of Rory Anderson.
He's still complaining to Callum Girvin there. He feels he should have had a free hit there, but there was a shot on. Xavier Giannini did take the effort. Maybe Jimmy Rotigan in your regime va. Was kein Baller to va corner houden to Willie. So is. Tuchtje haast de Cameron. Oh, holding je undo. I guess Jarak ik gave ook. Ga je Callum Girvin. Ik wil toch iets look at that. Daniel McVicker Jenna McVicker en Anderson Veen. Laten we nog een keer zeggen, ach, Anderson Noorsen Veen in Valderist. Macaulay, Kastat, zij wil Shachat erbeen. Macaulay er goed hoe is er vaak. Sander Michi. Who's going to Dylan Borthwick. Oh, it's on the bhúil áir is Ghiùthsaich a fhadarach a Daniel Maddy. Schat a Ghiùthsaich Maggie a Thomas Borthwick a bharach. Boringas in the Chassin in Gadol Kerst Norsen. Still the corner sin na Halapilach Ray on him. Oban Camanachd Jenna Magadiru. Camanachd Jenna Maf Gain Chachater. Slaik van Earth is in Kujok. Oorlogen is de Bob McGregor. A heerlijk Rish Magadiru. Good pressure on Bob McGregor there, but he is so good in those situations.
Yeah, he's got a great clearance. Got to be quite calm there, but just watching Thomas Borthwick there, he quite a burst forward. He looks like he's struggling a wee bit to get back, so I don't know if that's just a kind of fitness and injury thing.
Yeah, having got in and about the play there, he just kind of didn't have the legs then to chase the loose ball. And you'll just run in the lach. I should roll a shach in Vienna Park for I call Macaulay or Stogation has the Hassan RT as phone you show. Frischel Plurin hier haast George Taylor Ramsey. William and Roche and Druid. Haast der Winky, Jach Glachkig. Jack Nelson that in years and Nickel Dylan Borthwick, Chillich in the park. That's in Darnley Hasho. That's Savvy Janini and here in Archie Borthwick as he had left.
He does well at when the body Dylan Borthwick, but his start position's actually got to be the other side of Daniel Macaulay, to be honest, because he's having to come from behind to win, work really hard to get the ball, and I've seen a lot of that with the Kingussie forwards in this second half so far. They're getting stuck behind the man, they're not getting to the ball first.
Bain. Here's Sutherland. Oban Camanachd now. Like G. Tinishach the boot. Savio Giannini on the Rory Anderson on. Thomas Borthwick. If he achin. Sutherland as well this time.
Yeah, it was a good save from Cam again.
Bal die nog briesig voor je. Ghiùthsaich van de Ghiùthsaich. Krijgen we van de Camanachd hier. Hier check a way to the Ceann prachtig gemaakt. Ik vrief cold huil. Now the goal judge is coming to see Cam Girvin here. Kinda not quite sure what.
I think it's just a late swing. I think the camera player takes the ball.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what he's given.
Yeah. Back here.
Yeah, I think he's giving it for a late swing. I think Andy McDonald sneaks the ball away just when he's about to swing, and it looks worse than it probably actually is, I think
that was it sounded, but there was a big clash, and it kind of looked a bit bad. But I think, maybe not as bad as it first looked. Brilliant aan Ghiùthsaich. Camanachd an Òbain. Voor me krijgen we aan het finnen zag ik. Zou ik weer feikelach, maar weet je de primus na bereidje, er zijn er weer tot een carrière, dat gaan mijn run a show. Sutherland Huas. Macaulay Dawson, fijn genishen en horsig. Ik kan die Ghiùthsaich Lee Bain. Eersel, laar. Voor Dylan Borthwick feu. Va gamas Rory Anderson. So pretty sure guy Anderson is daar. Rory Anderson. Oh, is er laag ik zit er wel eens Jack. Han is groot gormen. En ik Rory Anderson. Zat Jack het kunnen go. This chance looked to be gone, but somehow Rory Anderson gets there first.
He just chases it down, creates the opportunity, and he catches it really well, but
it's just not quite at it. Well, it's not that he's not at it, but he's just been off target every time he's had an effort so far today.
Yeah, and I think sometimes when you're 1-0 down, it just probably puts that little bit extra pressure on you to score, obviously. And I just don't know whether that's sort of just a wee bit of nerve, not nerves, but pressure. Usually very deadly from that position.
Callum McMillan goal Selim Kerehaun had al zo'n Camanachd an Òbain. McMillan hawn ha goal Collis it Malcolm Clark gan gela like a shachat nie hawn. Aye, Malcolm Clark gawn. Out of a shack. Macmillan is Natchison. Gyma cwag o'ch ti'n ffyn y parc ysyn. Gary Lord sech y fiain y parc hig Macmillan og. Diagre y sech y lain iesh. Dy fiain y parc gael Camanachd yn Òbain y Ghiùthsaich. G's Iagr yn ei hil ymhanisht. Macaulay Dawson agus Carl Macmillan. Skipper yr Lochside Rovers yn hys yn y galaf. Macavewlain. Well into the second half now, Andy, what, 15-16 minutes or so. Kingussie have been threatening, but they haven't gained any real control over this game.
No, and I don't know what it is. I'm not saying they're flat, but they're just, you'd think they're expected Kingussie to come out the second half fired up and really put a bit of pressure onto Camanachd here. But it's just not played out that way, but they have had a couple of chances, but all to play for, and it's still pretty even.
Anderson, Macauffiochar as a Anderson cluich Ghiùthsaich, Savio Giannini. Iers Ollis in yr hôl bein. Dyn ni gyfi ffasgyd, chafi achli bein hyn. And then Macaulay as a So is it Loinig, Amas Gideon Macaulay Dawson gael as a A sure Daniel Macaullay in the dollars on ein for love, so Dawson cluich Macaullay Òbain fwy bishin.
I thought Dylan Borthwick could have gone for that, but didn't put any effort in there. So I just don't know if he is still carrying that knock. Clearly is, but just not able to play fully, if you like. And I was expecting him to go and challenge for that ball, but he didn't go for it.
Maybe picking your moments. It was in to see Savio Giannini coming out at a good lick onto this wing, as there was a question mark over his fitness for the game, but he's moving okay so far.
Yeah, he's done well since he's come on.
Ghiùthsaich leisure in the foul. Bal Marsh in the Shach Ghiùthsaich Lee Bain. Thomas Borthwick Chupa Mhicamhlaigh voor McKerchen. Borthwick er eerst. Look at the little war. Garukorik is in the area. It's a little war. Right to okay Lish. Bain. Bain Shach in the V1. He gehaast. Oh, Dylan Borthwick die nog duidelijk nul as er is. Anderson yn y ceidiach nach rwysyn dolu hyn ymach gyfferist ga Camanachd yn Òbain. Thomas Borthwick yr ymach chynnychliaich Savio Giannini hir dynia mwy ar y hon. Made as i eich Max yn yrwyd y Made as yn darn lie. Giannini gen i fi ein. Borthwick! O, charwysyn fat sy'n i'r falaf. Wel, mae ceisiach yn rhoi Ciann a Ciann gyda'r ysyn. Looked sharp enough there, Dylan Borthwick.
He certainly is, and you're saying he's picking his moments to come into the game. He's actually, he's caught it in half volley. Really unlucky not to get across the keeper there, but starting to threaten a little bit.
We haven't really seen that kind of cross-field movement from Kingussie much in this second half. It's been a wee bit kind of front to back. They haven't got themselves going up front yet.
Yeah, no, those kind of back-to-front balls are easy to defend as a defender. It's those cross balls that make the defenders turn. They don't like to run towards their own goal, so that created that opportunity again. Savio did well to get the ball across.
And that's, we made the point earlier that Ronald was wanting his forward players up there. That's the three forwards all standing in front of Cammy Southern. You don't often see that. Just quite such an offensive kind of formation there.
Absolutely, I've not seen that at all.
Must be a temptation if you're Cammy Southern to actually try and hit one of them. But anyway, that could be counterproductive.
Yep.
Òbain, goal yn nŵnia, Cwsannach Gog, Scott Campbell. Paul Mava, Sian Cwjok, Borthwick, gen i Max yn ar. Tuch a hastig yn Òbain, Stolk y Tuch. Gary Lord. Chaneg a siach yn y fi aie, sy'n cael Ghiùthsaich yr ein ymach, Ghiùthsaich Leich, Macauffiochar. Sian ar y hon. Chadw ar a bal far i i'r ege gyda. Rwy'n Anderson gachwyd fwy bi. Bís, gewoon roos keer in cluich de golf koers er vaak shootef. Spray hier kun je gaan in mooie vaak zijn, maar kan Ghiùthsaich. Rory Anderson. Vís connortí ar a bhar gaibh, har a bhí sas as a hulacal Europrach a gaibh nú, a hip-oprach a gaibh. Madé, gachud fwy bys yn y Líbéin, ach janna bach hwys ar ein. Fair Macaulay Schlier.
Just not quite clicking there. Savio came short for the ball down the line and played it into the middle straight to Daniel Maddy. You just feel they're having to work quite hard, can you see, at the moment, to create anything.
There's days it looks natural when the passes just go to players and everyone's in the right place, but not today. Sylyn je lan op en je hawn, rhaid de hwys ach daflionne. Da hulke heen. Matthew Sloss an is cluich ik valúr agus Lewis Cameron na hwyr na tuin. Larsin bach yn 3 blionne. Callum McIntosh nach marw yn hwyr yn dôl. Kingussie Larsin. Zeeltach smynioch nach lawn nach 3 blionne van Noorsen.
Exactly the same again. Dylan playing it into a Camanachd player, but there's no Kingussie player there to play the ball.
Misschien de favor en op in de reach. Lewis Cameron. Scott Campbell is a vian. We ben je nu maar geama gashin. Eén piore. That's the danger though. When the game is stretched. Oh, I think je kan zo door. Daar Zurich voor school. Cut him out. Oh, saveling Malaysia. McGregor. Ze vallen af. Le meeben hoe is gemeen in de park. Anderson. Schachterissen. Maar ik heb 4 keer geen versmaaks. Ik heb heel goed als je ziet dol. Ik kan de Ghiùthsaich. Lewis Cameron gagel. Lan dikkie van die Ghiùthsaich. Cameron hou verhuur. Gaat daar aan. Ik heb je geta. Alexander Michi. Golaatje. Dawson hoe is gemeen in het park. Andersons. Is niet kalm mag niet. Maar ik heb 4 keer de Ghiùthsaich. Komen ze ook een realish kujok. Maar ik ga even runnen show. Benen eruit. Dylan Borthwick. Rory Anderson rehuv. Fashion gown gas and get that. Some physically being Caroshinners and chick. Riachin. Caman Janini and Art. Garan Gramadi at Caman Hodishach. Habe Vaun. Kingussie kind of huffing and puffing, but this was good from Oban. They took this quick corner and it suddenly opened up for Gary Lord out at the back.
Yeah, the touch just landed perfect to come inside, and the Kingussie defender had turned, it was going the other way, but a good save from Bob there with his feet. First chance for Camanachd for a wee bit.
4 minutes nummer sin rakel. Camanachd an open haster hoshach maar Ghiùthsaich dul ag Ross Campbell is hier het. Slaik van een live Schachkesin. De Hanik voor de Gamma en Arctic. Bob McGregor. Hij zag er naar Lien heen. Geen plotseling dol. Giannini. Gomarishin. Chontek. En Maddy Dolly Lish. Is it a quite a game in the second half, Daniel Maddy? Just through the pattern of play, really. But he's not letting Giannini any more space than he allowed Líbéin in the first half.
Yeah, he's been fantastic, Daniel. It just feels a little bit rushed from Kingussie when they get up front as well. As you say, we're not seeing that kind of nice interchange of play and creating space. It's all been very direct, but have to take your hat off to Camanachd defence. They've dealt with everything they've had to it.
Wat kijken jullie hier, Hoshach? Ik kan hier zitten, ja, in Ghiùthsaich. Camanachd kan open. Dat is niet voor je nog te goed bij de Camanachd. Ga je dat tol? Dus zijn we net zo goal. Ga je dat cluich door de jeetje de goal? Gary McCarroll le Carsterak. Zij hoe erin van de park, van de winkie. Suez, gemeen in de park. Thomas Borthwick, Caulum Mached, meer in de park in Ocean. Lorne Dickey van Gelukal. Nu is Lewis Cameron. Hij gehaast. Mag ik wel in ook gehuurd Colin McMillan. Dat gaat door eens een korm. Macush. Waarin hem huur aslish. Sinna Cameron kan open je gra. Gaan Callum Gurvan Toshin guy vitir gyda. And Macmillan Martian, Gigich for Macaulay Dawson. How, Yesel, Shachat, good. Miles to me. 9 minutes sheer Caracal. Camanachd and Oban has the Hoshach. Conor Howe if you can vote again Ianu. Daniel Cameron, I guess, against Gary Macmillan. The Nibish Aharach Ille Ianu. Was Macmillan Silly McGobble Gachke. For a ligane. The Clanike Veiling. Con Grant. Ghiùthsaich. Macouche is in a man Norse and Daniel Macouche. Fwyn before. Was Campbell gachainig nu. Had de kei is le Campbell licht nach door de bal. Campbell hoor genishin. Zo gelezen was een. Tjus een Macaulay a chig stoche. Con Grant in yma. Chos like Coimhead. Gynnau, Gary Lord and Thomas Borthwick of Norton. Dawson. So it's a line it like Colin McAvilly. There's Cameron, Cunnig Harren. Yesel, Arash, go McAvilly York. Kingussie ken je maar. Zonder knopen en wisse bal dat daar haast. It's cluich that no finished. Gary Lord, number 8 for Òbain, down in the middle of the pitch. No wonder if legs are feeling a bit tired. I think they're making a change here as well. Ross McMillan coming on for Conor Howe, I think. So Daniel Cameron kind of trying to rest some legs, trying to keep an eye on others as well, because it's that tense time of the game they're ahead, but they're only just ahead.
Yeah, and it's just that last kind of almost into the last 15 minutes of the game, plus injury time, so we've got some fresh legs on there. Conor did well in the first half, but he's probably not been as prominent in the second half here, so probably just want to switch it up. And Ross is a very good player coming on as well.
Thomas Borthwick getting a big spray inside the strapped up knee as well. And who else? Scott Campbell of Òbain getting a spray. I've seen Liam Borthwick and Roddy Young going around with sprays all right in the pitch as well. Like, you know, amateur players coming towards the end of their season, not quite falling apart, but you know, it just takes its toll.
Yeah, you can see that today. Kingussie have fared worse clearly with the injuries in the game today, and it's probably really upset their rhythm and the hand they had coming in at the start of this week through training this week, but coming into the final, so they've had to really adapt and probably use subs earlier than they'd planned to. I feel like Camanachd are probably edging it at the moment. Just as I keep saying, their defence has been really excellent. I've been impressed with them today, and Kingussie aren't. They're having to feed off kind of half chances rather than creating clear-cut chances.
I remember Kingussie having 2 big injuries in this final last year. Rory McCaughan went off injured, and I can't remember who the second player was, but that really had an effect on their ability to make changes. And we've seen kind of the same today. Okay, Dylan Borthwick made it back onto the field, but Cal Macaulay still with his foot up in front of us here. That's kind of just robbed them of that flexibility of a rolling sub.
Yeah, and Callum was playing really well in the first half, and he gives you a kind of threat from the middle of the park up front as well, so clearly missed him, and then just throws everything out a little bit in terms of your planning.
Thomas Borthwick, how shachat there is in. Shouldn't have skill naris here. Jenema, Gary Lord. The Shay Kurim, we gaan binnen zeggen, Rashid de Gassen, die schach gefeen Kurim. Rashid de Gassens, Genevieve Diegel, Rory McCaughan, gestuurd Rash, Bekan. Bal maar voor McCaughan. Schach het er hoop dat Anderson's been. Toetje shock het aan Macaulay Dawson. Tall, je kan de Ghiùthsaich. Een giekere. Faravaiki. Schach Ghiùthsaich het hol. Zat er haast jongen. Macaulay Dawson. Herge dingen ook. Hij is haar goed rash. as a geama show. Well, you've got all these big names, all these experienced players. The ball kind of goes past them all. And Macaulay Dawson, the teenager, goes into the back post. What a finish.
Yeah, absolutely. Just coming into the back post, flicks it past the keeper.
It's what you'd want from a wing centre. You know, the ball's there, follow it, see it, take the opportunity, score.
Yeah, absolutely, Derek. And I think Cameron will probably be a wee bit frustrated and disappointed with the way they defended that. It's just a simple shy straight down the park, and I think it's gone through 3 or 4, come off Daniel Maddy to create the chance, but they have been well defended well, but that's one that they'll probably be disappointed with.
Ball of high, maar wordt aan deze geert nog holten, zeggen er holten, mialle holten, a chuchtje. En loog achkesen. Natuurlijk een checkje van de camera spot ik or a spikken hier niet. Samen zo, van Jaravatje zo aan ik het over genjik gewoon. Gaan jullie pullers het pullige man russen voor Macaulay.
It's never a kick, man. Come on.
Sander Michi. Maddy. Soon. Tashin hier goal in via Calginini. Ja, via gaan nu mijlen gerud. Maar we maken het even houden van de Kingussie gewezen. Skavelch in 3 minutes in jerk. Òbain will be having a bit of déjà vu. 12 minutes before the end. Newtonmore got a goal back against them last week. They're just a little earlier than that. They've conceded now against Kingussie to let them back in.
Yeah, it'll be interesting just how that affects them, or whether they can refocus.
Maddy. Janini S.A. Anderson. Achemaal nog Macaulay aan haast. Janini. Tuurtje Mhicamhlaigh Janini. Joe skill voor je zijn. Kijk, je geen nul. De Ghiùthsaich lie been nach va. En die Macaulay is een dat schaarst. Macaulay. Dan hij Dawson. Macaulay Janini maar hoe is. Gaan er geen belach. Ross Campbell hoe het hoorlijk. Nopen. Zijn maak meeben. Oh, gaat op pullig maal Noorsen gedaan. Maar gaan we enkel Lorne Dickey. Dickey. In de wie val af. Geama, le kan Grant am nul gref al naar asje. Gewoon Macaulay. Hoe is Kingussie. Been. Janini Shachter. Borthwick de Heuve. Hier zal de Ghiùthsaich Janini. Casas Erwaarts. Kaman Keiner val af le. Macaulay de Janima. Rory Anderson. Tuurtje Been is ook het daar. Been Gil Anderson en Moeishin. Gaan hij hikke bulloch. Oh, that was nearly past, maybe past of the season, certainly past of the day, just a bit too much on it though.
And you can see the spring in their step already just after that goal, what a difference it makes to them. I do feel Dylan is struggling with that injury. And
yeah, Dylan Borthwick can you close the bulloch. I liked him. A neat one from Maben, fullback from Kingussie just before that. A wee flick kind of towards his own goal, which you know you kind of doesn't seem right in many ways, but that's where the space is, and he knew where to play it safely.
Yeah, when I saw that wasn't through, it was trying to get it back to Bob, and the goals I passed back and shinty, which is an unheard thing, but yeah, very experienced fullback.
Play it to yourself, not the goalie. Thomas Borthwick, gestart. Vaak in je gloeien, je zint maar de gerrig, je zint wel gaan je gloeien, je vaak in je van de boeren bal aan Selemi. Hier zal de schaag voor. Macaulay no merk naar bekijken, in de groenige zin. Oh, ik is jemig, zin je zander Michi wel naar Asjes en de goedje hoog. Gaan dan 3 keer in de merk en waar merk ons in hier toe, zo McGregor er zo in klaar. Oh, he's so lucky to get away with that there, Bob McGregor.
Didn't know about taking his forehand or his backhand, he kind of got caught in between.
Fine situation. Uret. Haar kan de Ghiùthsaich gegroenig zitten. De gammel aan de gemmingen zitten, de gammel aan Roosjochig. Noor het, heb het jullie jaren. Kun je het aslisch? Dan de Michi van de. Wanneer je op nou. Was maken wel in het gewoon. Fijn en gorm gaan open. Ik ga niet liggen daar. Liebeen. Ik mag zo naar Maddy. Been de 20. Kijk Anderson. Nach gevier als hij is. Daniel McVickertje en Magariru. Skipper en daar heel veel gele. Anderson. Zeg je Ghiùthsaich, Borthwick. En dan in Borthwick blokken. Clyde Dawson. Generert. Anderson. Iersel. Siachat ar a foscata. Oban Camanachd le réitir. Ceinteach sin. I think I knew how to reach just a snapshot there that time from Rudy Anderson. I think he's a bit frustrated with the way the game's gone today.
Yeah, he's a good chance there for him. Again, just got to get it on target.
The threat is coming from our right-hand side now. Really, Kingussie look the more threatening of the two teams.
Yeah, just that goal's absolutely giving them a lift as you'd expect. So they're starting to move a bit more up front. I'll just be wondering whether Ronald will put some fresh legs on. Maybe for Dylan, who's carrying that injury, and Thomas both at the middle's looking a bit tired as well with his injury. So just into these kind of key moments of the game now in the last kind of 10 minutes.
Anderson. You see Dylan Borthwick. Daniel Maddy in the Machnau in Ocean. Daniel Maddy, the Carach in Ocean. You were kind of questioning how fit Dylan Borthwick is. He's certainly strong enough because he's kind of basically taken Daniel Maddy's full weight there.
And I think we've showed there is getting to the ball first. He gets to the ball, he controls it, and he can influence the game. Whereas when he was against Daniel Macaulay further out, Daniel was getting to the ball first, and he wasn't kind of affecting the game as much out there, you know.
Janini goal. Oh, how should Father Falla Bain? Haar tuil goed te maken goed in deze zit. Tuil goed te nou niet eens keer niet zelf mee. Chick raskelga. Oh, that was so close. You saw Lee Bain kind of just above the knees, thinking, I can't believe it didn't go in.
Too much effort on that, whether it was top corner.
Thomas is Malcolm Clark, Ghiùthsaich, gan an Òbain, cluich ar na cheann, líana ceart ar ríist. Campbell Chuas, Ghiùthsaich, Macaulay and Ross McMillan. Dheireannach, Ghiùthsaich putting a cluich in Valur and Ghiùthsaich, a horsey could have been in you. Thinking of Kingussie's options, they started with Jack Nelson up front and then wing forward. He didn't reappear for the second half. He must have picked up a knock or something because you would have thought he could have rotated back on by now just for something more fresh legs.
Yeah, and I actually thought he did really, really well as well. I was really impressed with him in the first half. Very strong, good with the ball, carrying the ball, running into space, and I thought he did really well in the first half. So yeah, maybe another knock.
Oh, Ballashaw, Cormishaw, gan Òbain, McGregor amach, the gachas Cola, Choma, Cabalhooler is in. Timing ik gemaríis, gaan jullie gaan met Piara de weken, ach fashion ma, ba maríis voor Anderson Kujo. Dylan Borthwick er wel hier is en so Daniel Maddy in de barley Shiriska. Camanachd Òbain. Borthwick, gefuchtig, galar is in. He's had another mighty game at the back, Daniel Maddy.
He's been excellent, he really has. Very, very good. You just wonder, we're going into the last 5 minutes, if extra time is looming, then the effect that will have on the injured players and tired bodies.
Daniel Cameron, Curliana Hainit, Cluich Hainit, Kujoch. Cluich heen far Ceann Gary Lord, being the park, so Daniel Cameron, the junior manager, Camanachd Òbain. Cachud heen in the far Gerson, the Coimhead Mhicamhlaigh. Daniel said to me last week when he was on the bench against Newtonmore, it's a big call, putting yourself on the bench for a semi-final. Well, it's a final. He's putting himself on and he's heading goalwards in here. I think going into the half-forward line.
Yeah, and we talked about a lot of experience today. Daniel brings that and clearly keeps himself fit, and I think he touched on it earlier on. He's clearly got a good rapport with the players, and he'll do okay when he comes on. Daniel certainly be fully committed.
Sin go bhíonn Lysander Michi sin far ar roll ar a farc. Centre forward Manachan fhaicinn. Suas ar a farc. Camanachd Òbain y Ghiùthsaich tol. 4 minutes in regol the Seoc Mossfield. Hashin le tol yn nhw'r ag yn Ghiùthsaich. Cameron, manager, ar a farc. Clacking his skill in Nick. She's half look at her hound. Can you die go here? it's worth making the point. He's a top player, Daniel. He's not played much the last couple of seasons as player and manager, but he's been their best player on and off for the last 10 years.
Yeah, he's been so consistent. And you can see why that was a kind of sensible move with the club to make him the first team manager. He's got such a good relationship with the players.
Chamain figurnáidir sin ball has. Oh, Sabal Malach Hassan. McGregor Mhicamhlaigh Chamain. A five who has come in the park. Ho Kuttermach Erist. Had Merach Negayan in you. Had Gronbrot and in Bullock Kjarsketa. Shall Daniel Macaulay is for the goal. Fein Hikke Kutjok. Nyachamach. Oh, a cluich gig at the Vrachtach. A Chachach Mach Bullock. Hikke Mach Ross Campbell. McCachern. Who is Shachmi in the park, Macaffiuchker Gaviander Horshacher Anderson on the spot Gita. Rashajon Ishko, Lorne Dickey, Cluichtenstein in Ishfach, Daniel Cameron in the park. When McCachern Fain Lava Norkel Notion, and Lee Bain as he Cormushaw, Daniel Maderi, the Savio Giannini Lishini Kada, Lee Bain or Chigorstein, Hasur will you Dolly Joka Kijok, Andy McDonald, Giannini, like a Daniel Maddy, or Lee Bain, like a Holikala Tacher to a session. I guess had Yake in your show in an open. Now that's a fullback's worst nightmare. He has to come for this, but he knows Giannini's in acres of space behind him. Maddy doesn't manage to stop him. There's definitely two fouls there.
I think Andy McDonald knew he had to stop that attack there, because I think Savvy knew exactly what he had to do was get the ball to the 3 man at the back post. I think it was Dylan Borthwick at the back post who'd have nobody on him and a free shot at goal.
But it's just one of those again. Shouldn't he swing so quickly? Bob McGregor at the other end makes a crucial save, gets his feet just behind it, and then he turns defence into attack with one mighty swing up the pitch.
Yeah, and I think Cameron had pushed up the park to create that opportunity, and I think you saw Daniel McCush running pretty much the length of the park with the ball there and just created a bit of space coming back down so quickly for Lee Bain.
Giannini, the skill shot. Who are a first and ask Vuela for Maddy's Hannik and Hashko Giannini, who are an open and fall away geta, who is coming in the park. Chachamiga Hassan is in. Calm Grant Ivan the Heilig Hassan. Meben Kabelhuler had a Hushim gan open and Wilchanila. Meben is a rad. Robert Meben, Feed Larcher, Feed Hjolte, I guess skill al Kujok. Thomas Borthwick, it Chloe Sailing, Michanileshin Kiuri Univaraka show. Kakinjoch. Like Eri Cole the Varakata. McGregor, Mach. So is a line. He can give Rory Anderson a shot. Mach a few Karasiai. Mach a few Kirkastad. Anderson the Unje.
Come on!
Chanel Borthwick at the Camanachd. So is a line. Maddy. Giannini has he. Jack me Thomas Dane who had all. Clyde Dawson who hadn't all the Kingussie in here correction for the Venki. Streak ball in sin a chura Shacha. Bain is he. Daniel McCush ma feine fall avoy geta. Borthwick Bachasemach is in femin nach de Volan. Lee Bain Fasker. Borthwick! Oh, waar zit je nog een kleunige schacher ervoor staan voor Sabel, Mama Cabby Sutherland. Van mijn nu pass voor je, Chanur Pia, ga Eersel, ga schacher. Chicken Meiri, that was so close, Andy. What a save that is.
We were right in line, it was bending inside the post. What a hit that was, and what a save. You watch here, it was bending in. Look.
Oh, timing at Cammy Sutherland, Bullock Lot. It nearly comes in off the rebound as well. Kingussie pushing. I'm not sure that a single player out in that pitch really wants extra time, but nobody wants to lose this either.
Both teams pushing for it. It's been a great second half, end to end, with loads of chances.
Listen, the Shach no. Ceann a cook the three. Can you listen? Harris make me Shach kicking. Macaulay, who is Ghiùthsaich Macaulay. Meracushe, Colm Grant Evan, the Slike, Larcher, Dinja Fashker, Ross McMillan, Shach, McGregor is a V1. Fijne Gamanier, Skippel to Kajor, is nog eigen open naar de Lochkik. Daniel McCush voor Lee Bain naar de goal ha. Silver aan, McCush lekker Cameron Lee Bain. Lee Bain terug. Could he help shears, Falk Camanachd in the park. Ceann Yang Chupa Mhicamhlaigh. Macaulay. Tuchja, ik een open. Ga je naar het Oban Camanachd. Gaan haar ze nog een stag voor de keggen. Vinden ze water gedaan. Hoe kan ik maar tens naast? Minute de goal stoppen. Gaan je het kussen varak naar minute kun je. Camanachd kan open. Ik kan huis de park gedaan. Scott Campbell, de Ghiùthsaich stag. De manager heen, Daniel Cameron station de verhuur, Misk Ille. Als je een rol hier gedaan, ze willen nu niet weer Kingussie vind ik in de park. Gaan het in de gel. Kun je Kingussie kan kleerhouder gorstig ook checken. We willen Thomas Borthwick vat, we willen Dylan Borthwick vat, we willen Xavier Giannini pillig vat. Jack Nelson is going to get actually is connecting with Norsna. McKechern, as he Anderson, Cahokel, Anderson, Huas, Kingussie, Giannini, Daniel Maddy, Giannini, Miga, I had 2 minutes to Anderson, Anderson, Iersel, Sutherland, and Havelly, Gemachtlich, Cluich the park, Òbain, Ghiùthsaich, Chupa Mhicamhlaigh, Stoch, Kingussie, Chupa Mhicamhlaigh, wel een nieuw naam, McKechern, de Ghiùthsaich stag. San Bohiach Carcolach Risho, Hanike Dole Kingussie. Film McKechern show in Karst, maar gaan hem gewiachke. Like that. Ik heb nu een skoike. Ik Daniel Maddy, Unike, wil hem maken nog een lish. Heen goed Karst. Had nu een like van Gyuri. Ach, zij like Mhicamhlaigh. Geen nu Abishach, Bishin le, leren hietje valk met een vakin in jakken zich haai kujach. Tolik, Macaulay Dawson ook. Maar Craig Dawson, wat klopt je met de pleon de Kingussie. Het Unje valk geen was Campbell als hij hier het is het tolik en open. Als ze weer horsach, Unje woorden ze game. Met een hager in jakken zich haai had er een horsk Unje valk. Dan skip ik een baardje nog. Hier zijn het met een hager is. Ik kan genoeg. Daniel Cameron naar de heen hoort in de vaak. Voor je gegeven. Hashin ik terug door hier tjekkelje. Agus shin haastig. Tolden door. Cameron kan open de heun. Kingussie a heun. Andy. I got really tense towards the end there, but everybody has a wee chance now to try and reset and not at least reset, but also just check out the walking wounded, see who's fit, see who's not.
Yeah, it's taken its toll the game, I think, end to end, and clearly both teams were coming into the game carrying some injuries. You would say that probably Kingussie have fared worst with that in terms of how the game's played out. But I think Kingussie, for me, probably edged that second half and the chances they had, whilst Cameron still looked threatening on the odd occasion. Pretty even over the pace. Wouldn't have said any team probably overly deserved over the 90 minutes. So we're heading into extra time, and it will be. I think the injuries and the tiredness of the players will come into this towards the end of it.
Both keepers have made some really good saves, particularly in that second period. Bob McGregor, crucial interventions more than once. He will be looking. He'll be hoping that this first goal doesn't actually, tell the story of the game at all. But he'll be disappointed with the way the first goal went, and this was ages ago, 17 minutes into the game. Ross Campbell with the opener.
Yeah, Ross just gets across on target, as I say, you teach youngsters to do that. Bob should really deal with that, and I think he'll admit that himself. I don't know whether it does swerve in the wind. We saw that one from Dylan Borthwick curve that way in the second half right at the end of the game. I don't know if it's could have just turned on him slightly and caught the edge of the stick, to be fair to him, but yeah, he'll be hoping that that's not the defining moment for Kingussie today.
It nearly was until we had to wait 13-14 minutes for the end. Macaulay Dawson, young player, I think he's 17, off the bench in the second half, and just putting himself in the right place at the right time. But what composure he showed.
Yeah, it's the shy straight down the middle, and you can see all the Camanachd players in the middle there, and it goes through them all. They were really disappointed how they defended that after defending so well for the rest of the game. But he does great, yeah, and it's a wee flick. A lot of players would take a big swing there and try and burst the net, but he's composed enough just to flick the sticker to get it past the keeper here with a half hit.
And nothing Cammy Sutherland could do about that. We've seen both keepers. Bob McGregor's made quite a few great saves, lots of important saves with his feet. The most kind of eye-catching save of the second half was Cammy Sutherland's from the effort by Dylan Borthwick, who's not been at it, but what a snapshot this was.
Yeah, and can you see there are a few shots from this kind of distance that they've maybe not tested Cammy or been along the ground quite safe on the feet, but that one is just travelling and it's turning inside the post, so the save is phenomenal when you see it here.
And he's got Daniel Maddy's stick, his Cameron just coming through his eye line as well.
Correct, that can distract you, but he's such a good keeper, Cam. You know, we've said it for a number of years now, but he consistently brings out these top draw saves in the big moments.
Cluich Chile Arash Hun Park, Hashin Gahrach Gachaun Genevar Kujoka, Bob McGregor Falaf Hun Live Yesh, a Cammy Sutherland Falaf Hun Live Clee. Teams have turned round again, Andy. Camera going left to right this period. Kingussie right to left. A few more changes again. We've got Malcolm Clark coming back on for Gary Lord. It's going to be tough for Kingussie in terms of trying to use their bench. I think they've got one more sub they could use, I think. The rolling subs are an option, but you know, they're limited in the options they've got. Their squad is so thin. Oban will say the same is true for them. You know, they've got loads of players missing too.
Yeah, and you know, clearly Ronald's kind of putting his faith in the experienced players here today and trying to get the job done. And he's got some young players on the bench there that, you know, they may be called upon. Who knows? They may be the hero today.
Carl McAvoy and Kujok are all, yeah. Camanachd and Òbain Kujok. Fiach McCain go a bit of a game. Daniel Cameron has the Moishan Kuyu. Colin Grant. Can we use it? Was Oban Camanachd is in the Norsen. Dylan Borthwick gets shin for Andy Macaulay. Anderson, Ghiùthsaich in Hofars Gronhorsen. Geama Magariru at the Dheireannach in the East. Macafiochers Anderson. Maddy Camalhuler, Fehuer. It's going Karst. Mach de Val, Fargamanic Zander Michi. Like an open Jennifer and Hull, like Bob McGregor, Ghiùthsaich. Fiach under again, VP could have reached. Jachamach Bulloch. Ja, Kingussie in the Yekin. Toast the Yekin on Haas, maar bij Granter Gomes Jeliker is een Gema. Sherain. Anderson Fouipi. Macafiochker. Anderson Dokkelar. Fijn Kogenig. Kalmgerven. Daniel Cameron. Gayuri Rash. Lemashir Gerven. Mhicamhlaigh. Dylan Borthwick, who is Savio Giannini. There we go. Shia Sirish, Kingussie Kikuri Servillich, and you're again Calvoy. For a colours on Gramor and Uncle Over Asherard, Treviani Park. Kingussie Kishin, no pension at Lishkata, but at the Veraklim Meben, nach Mahuler, Tuchi, oh, Vakorica Tuchi machine, who's Cameron, Kamega Cameron. It's a really good surface, but inevitably there's just a few wee undulations sometimes. There's a couple of times today, I think the ball just suddenly disappeared into one of the wee hollows and the players just haven't quite read it right.
Yeah, and that's... Going with your stick's always a danger with that. My favourite shout as a defender was feet.
Oh, Carmajo. Ryan Magarir, Ross McMillan, Gasturi, Chimigler Meben, Bob McGregor, Chinamach, Faraloy Narish, get that. Vergleed in de Marie, Hare skippen, ik groene grondhorsen is een game set. Gaan je daar go hier. Camanachd an Oban Camanachd ar a dul chun Olivia Shakin. Riamach ar yn dyfawl, ar falaf. Bo Daniel Cameron. Ac i'r i'r chlwyd yn golasiach gan y fiain. Gyda'r dyn hyn nes asg. Mae'n eisiau dweud as y hyd li, i'r arwas cael bafalaf yn mynd i fe gol y siai. Siachlat yn un y parc. Mae'n amerach. Com grant, ferm yr ein eisiau agos hwchta chan eich einbalich. Mach gyffiachgar, yr y lygaw. Char o cwysawn ach fag i lio rawn. Anderson fiach yn caman i'r fal ach a dŵr a syns nhw'n sy'n lygaw glwychydar. Fe'n y ghasan y mysgu cheile.
Back.
Like a fersen. Cui, nach jacha for a Eura. Dylan Borthwick. Gachamel y dol. Hwy sy'n si Giannini. Bydd yn dyffwchtar ma de hilmi hyn ach a ma de chotar y fylwosod. Fersen. Rhys hwy sy'n si Giannini. O'r a Camanachd. Andy Macaulay gyswyd gyda as. Gwma de gyda. Ma de's nônloch gwbrachwch gyma Macaulay. Triple shot for the cluich erin gan Ghiùthsaich ar fod gyda haring cwl chos. Triple shot a bwlion y shit gan Rosmach gyfyrlain. Bal ar hyn y mach. As Ander Michael triple gyda mi yn y parc. Right at Christopher Kusen show. Couple of wee knocks there. Ross McMillan getting one a bit ahead, I think. But the one for Ander Michael here, he just looks like he's pulled something. He stopped and thought, I better not move my leg anymore.
Yeah, I wasn't sure initially whether it was cramp or not, but
could be.
Yeah, no, but he stopped all of a sudden. He just actually couldn't even go down. His leg was rigid there.
Triple Chanach Barami in the park, Cal Macaulay the Gosh in the Braich, a Chilation, Thomas Borthwick, a Ghiùthsaich in the park, Colas Edison, Gala Farakin Glue and Cayu, had a fast gig. Sander Michi, the cluich. Had a coit medication, stayed cool. Hoshach, a line of geama. Yeah, is that strange when he clearly stretches and feels it get all tight at least.
Yeah. And the game has been end-to-end and stretched for the defenders, covering a lot of ground. Mossfield is a big park. So I think the fitness will tell us second the injury time.
You usually expect Kingussie to be the fittest team in Shinty. That's the reputation, that's what everybody expects. But you kind of wonder today because there are so many carrying injuries, carrying knocks.
Yeah, kind of a massive impact. And I think Camanachd, to be fair, over the last few years, their fitness has been excellent. I think Daniel's really stepped up, kind of as manager, and had a real focus on fitness and recovery.
Bwydysach, y gynolban gyda Malcolm Clark. Gagol, sgachwr pys ma, fat y hwys ar y ffarg. Alon digilus, like Carar at the Valashin, Chatura Fashkir, Cluidrillish Kujak, Macaville, and your bracken in live. So rated it in a Benesachuk. Come, Kira McPherson, the Benesachuk. And Yari Hashom along off Kakinchach Shin. Clearly gets his on the hand. It's kind of hard to see.
Yeah, I thought he got the ball. I think it's just come through him in the hand. It looked like that. It was quite quick there, but it looked like he'd brought the ball across. Ross McMillan and caught him on the hand as he's taking the ball, but the referees decided a foul.
Giacarelli, Gavi Chinner, Gain, Karster, Gakian the Usi, Rory Monroe, Jishel Casinyer, Camanachd and Òbain, go on, say, will you get that? Well, about a large and Mapen. Tuche Joake, Tau! Ross McMillan, Camanachd and Òbain. Hanika Heke Ferrer Bielu, Darakich Charut Kalitje, a Purin, the Bob McGregor Ceann versus Ghiùthsaich. Och, ben a Ghiùthsaich doing your varach. A Camanachd Òbain and Hoshach East. Just what you want as a full forward. Get a wee bit of space for yourself. The ball falls straight for you. bang.
Yeah, and it just breaks here. He's got that half yard away from the defender that can't make the ground up there. Great finish, low into the bottom corner. Bob didn't have a chance for that. Didn't have a chance.
He had a knock last week. He didn't feature against Newton Moore, but he is such a good player. You know, player of the year a couple of years ago for them, I think, and so important to have him back in this extra time period.
Yeah, he's a big game player, Ross. He's very, very skillful.
Joe Val is in. Wil je zien? Campbell, aan de reis. McGregor in de havel gereisd. Voor wie bevoor haast. Veel meteen hier vanaf. Voor hij had rekening. En hebben we 3 gaan op in Noorsen. Met de McGregor. Wie kan havelen? Zo is de lijn gaan op in de Chini reis. Haag gaan haast. Nee, ben ik het daar. Dan gaan we naar de raad. Macmillan. Oh, ja, Gurm Rees. Heb opgegeven Lewis Cameron. Shaul maar een game maar achter Rees. Camanachd open. Geen en shoot. Maar kun je aan haar goal en daar is goed ook. Streef overkeer verder op hele shot at the Andersons McVicker. That duel goes on between McVicker and Anderson, but Camanachd just getting their noses in front, and again you just feel how it changes things. They're the ones who suddenly have that extra bit of energy.
Yeah, absolutely. And Kingussue probably start to feel the injuries a bit more as well. Still a good bit of time to go yet, but they'll get a lift from that, no doubt about it. Home support behind them as well.
Òbain er goal yet. Can the Ghiùthsaich. He just takes it so well. I mean, it's kind of bread and butter for a forward, but it's such a pressure moment.
Yeah, and we've seen Kingussue have a few of those kind of opportunities today as well, but Ross has struck it so sweetly into the bottom corner.
Òbain, yeah, Coimhead goal that now, if it's doing Roman roll, goal Ghiùthsaich, Ghiùthsaich Giaca, Savvy Janini goal Ceann, Ceann, Monroe goal Macaulay. So that's Òbain getting a wee rest. I think it was Vody Monroe, another teenager who's come on over on the right wing for Kingussie. You know, another young guy with a chance to make a name for himself.
Yeah, absolutely. And Ronald obviously trusts him to go in a big game, and clearly been playing well for the team as well. So a big moment for Rory coming on.
Oh, the Brishy on the favour and Òbain Harrow get that notice it. Lewis Cameron and Selimi,
I think it's important for clubs to bring youngsters through and balance it at the top level with continuing to win. It's a really hard balance, but it's absolutely vital for the future of any club to bring the young ones through as well.
2 teams are important. When we saw a big move yesterday, Kyle's Athletic saying that that's their second team done for this season at least. That's just a signal of the situation they're in, I suppose.
Yeah, that's a sad thing to hear, Derek, to be honest, for Shinty. But yeah, I'm sure Kyle's will come back. But you know, I think that's clubs really having to focus on that kind of youth Shinty and development to bring players through, and not just focus on the first team.
Dylan Borthwick. En dan vindt Fasker, Andy Macaulay vindt heen als een raad. De finish ook goed is. Zal voor de willen ten is. Geboden. Sport de finish. Andy Macaulay, je Kamal Kramer, Dylan Borthwick.
Holding the stick.
En hier Colin Girvan. Great position here for Kingussie now. Holding the stick, Colin Girvan says. I think he's right.
Yeah, he was, yep.
Just here, just end of it.
Kingussie paid with a free hit earlier on. I wonder if they'll go the other way now.
Janini as a heel. Thomas Borthwick. Had a lot. I shouldn't come there and get cluich. He knew the whistle was coming there, but Dickie just chucking the ball away. Just might as well before somebody tries to hit it.
Yeah. I'm not sure if I put my hand anywhere near a ball in this interfield.
Cara Dolnrifse. Janini. Dylan Borthwick. Gaat door een slijk karster, wat Cameron de noas er sport Andy Macaulay Borthwick tot Suler gaan we weer gaan la priestje ik Macaulay de Ries vindt Cameron genevallen was schön Lord Dickie Huis de vaart is in de rolrash van de linietje in gewoon Mibben So is a line. On Dickie Rees, cluich Thomas Borthwick in the Schmier in the park. Isn't called Husky Thomas Borthwick. There's a lot of guys out there really feeling the pace. You know, Thomas Borthwick is motoring up and down as well as he can, but you know, you can tell he's just not quite his normal self.
Yeah, it just takes you about that yard off the pace, and you know, you're not getting the top of your man and closing the ball down. Yeah, there'll be some tired bodies after this.
Ciaran McPherson called Ghiùthsaich Sikor Shokujuk. Chaishin Calm, Verishach, Lewis Cameron, Unikis, continue Farsker. A couple of times now, Òbain have done that. They've taken up really sensible positions off the shy for when a mistake happens, and that time Lewis Cameron probably should have done better given the time he had.
Yeah, he could have probably played it in short into feet to Ross McMillan. It was probably the more sensible ball there. He's played it across the back too hard and no one's able to get on the end of it.
Thomas Borthwick under it, shot me in the park. Eshin goal Shies, Kamal Kramer gloin to the Ghiùthsaich. Verille Yi Kingussie genisht. Jiachers on the veil, hand ik noa to the Ghiùthsaich. Gary gloin je spot. Again, this is one that looks a bit dodgy because there's just an attempt to go for the ball here, and as he comes down, he just catches his leg, catches his knee almost, and he's struggling. That's his knee that he is all bandaged up in any case.
Yeah, it looks a really sore one for Thomas as well, and I think your body's tired, you're not quite landing correctly, and the body just goes over, so worrying sign for Thomas and Kingussie.
Lee Bain's already on, just wandering over to the centre circle. I think that's where he's going to be now, take the place of Thomas Borthwick, at least until they get him checked out and see how good his knee is.
Yeah, clearly still got a good bit of the game to go here as well, and still quite close at 2-1, but you wonder what the impact of these injuries will have for the rest of the season and everything that Kingussie have got to play for as well.
Lee Bain, Trishel Stonach in the Thomas Borthwick has the fine. Cor Macaulay. Clonian holds of us together to get this. Dylan Borthwick, Legloin Kuchuk, Thomas Borthwick, very young. Mach as a game, say Legloin Kuchuk.
Someone's taking it.
We'll have a Camanachd. Borthwick for that. Then Cor. Chin Faravinki. He's such an important player for Kingussie, and you know, you can understand them taking a chance on him, particularly given the other injuries, even though he's not 100% fit.
There's so many games you watch Kingussie, and he's a driving heartbeat at the middle of the park for them. The energy brings, the speed he brings, and just everything in the middle of the park. He's maybe just been off that today. I think he's not quite been the same Thomas Borthwick we've seen previously in other big games.
De gorste go. Kakinjach ter quarter. Ronald Rossley. Ghiùthsaich goal in Machinnu. Some Kershene who in the cluich to Ghiùthsaich lach achke. Nee, Kohanik Faravinki, Hanik. Janini, Hanik Dawson, Hanik, Woody Monroe. Aldol Mach, Hanir Bulloch, Lewis Cameron, Huas, Jose Daniel Cameron. With a knapping in the fark and Ocean Shachambalach, and Nachi Connortoch has, Lauren Dickey, Chontiger, Ishin, and Lee Bain, Nishmi in the park. Ross Campbell, Mafarnur and Hole, for a fatter fall off. Bit of muscle memory there, I think. It's worked for me from here before, I might as well just give it a go again.
It was trying, I think it was trying to go in. It was definitely bending a little bit, but just a bit too high. But no, I clearly had that thought in his mind.
McGregor, Slaikna, Magariru. Gewoon who is gaan leunen jakken. Dylan Borthwick gewaal naar Chiliger Asher de Hon. Lee Bain dollar de Hon Kujuk de Heuv. Sander Michi, Januma. Eshin, we have had een gas snipperijke Kujuk. Dylan Borthwick, like loonje de Faske Gemor. Rory Monroe, vechten finish in de game. Verrilling de Roy, Toshboy. En Manjan Ghiùthsaich, Macmillan, McGregor, Fiachan wie Veenhikke, Aghaidh, Pipulje van Noshan, ik. Camanachd Òbain, Ghiùthsaich am nu in je varach, ik. Dirige hier daar in de leer, de goede varach, maar Chupa Mhicamhlaigh. Hiad Carson Húrach Shachad, sin is na Bulamírig Ginnishin. Tol, nur ik dirige game. Camanachd an Òbain, Rigol ar Hoiseach. A bhos Macaulay. 8 minutes in the Sheach. The Ghiùthsaich Varach Jo. Who's coming in the park? Anderson is yay. Hanaya Corum Gita. Here, Darnia, the Ghiùthsaich Varach Shachad, Agus. A cushion the top, the Camanachd an Òbain. Cluich the Rigostach, the Kingussie reached. Tol, reached, the Camanachd an Òbain. Had the Hoiseach, Dahol, Gehun. Andy Watt in your other hast. Conor Mandy, you know, given what happened to Oban last week, 2-0 up, pegged back to 2-2, losing in penalties. 1-0 up here, pegged back, going into extra time. You wouldn't necessarily rush to put all your money on them at this point, but they've got their noses in front. Kingussie have key players carrying injuries or having gone off injured. You know, the omens are there for them. It kind of looks good for them to some extent.
It feels that way, Derek. It definitely feels that way. Kingussie are looking tired, they're carrying their injuries. Goals clearly give you a bit of a boost, and I'll take a lot from that. You can see a spring in the Cameras player's step there. So, you know, 15 minutes they've now got to just go and really focus for the last part of the second half of extra time here and hope their defence, the way they played the majority of the game apart from the goal they conceded, they need to keep that level up.
We'll have a look at the goal. Ross McMillan making the difference at the moment off the bench for this game. And so often goals come from free hits like that. Not necessarily because they all work well, but because suddenly there's loads of bodies about and the ball just breaks around.
That's right, and the first attempt was defended, it kind of breaks again to Ross just on the edge of the box, and he's actually got a little bit of space here. And he's, yeah, fantastic finish. He keeps it down. They're the hard ones for the keeper to save from that distance. You know, absolutely no chance for the keeper.
Oban should probably have had a free hit from there anyway for Robert Raven sliding tackle out onto the ball. But as you know, you kind of, I say you feel for Ronald Ross. There's probably plenty of people who won't feel for Ronald Ross just because of the great success he's enjoyed as player and, you know, so far as manager as well. They don't necessarily enjoy watching Kingussie win, but he's really struggling for options here. You know, I think he's certainly used all 3 subs now at this stage. So with the players he's losing, the players who are struggling, there's not a lot he can do to affect the game as a manager here.
No, his hands are tied to a certain extent with that, and you know they've really been punished, to be honest. You know, we've seen, you know, Dylan seems to be moving a bit more freely in the extra time than he was. He was struggling for a little bit when he came on. Clearly Thomas has come off. You get Lee being in the middle of the park now, and we know Lee's kind of maybe not the most mobile player in the middle of the park, and it's a big wide park. And I think that'll be key now for the Kingussie, is to try and dominate the middle of the park and get the ball up.
Lee being the station, Bwyn McCarcher nu tyf, agus McLeod Dawson, Giach ar Shach Giach, Erich Leachil in the park achge. And I Cohan and I Gary Lord, agus Lorne Dickey, agus Malcolm Clark station me in the park, Ganopan. Daniel Cameron, manager of Ganopan, in the park. Bal ma van Voice and Kujok. Gan Kus Connor Dickey Ghiùthsaich, Ferris Gilior, Savage Gilior. Kingussie, he made an instant impact actually, Daniel, when he came on 5 minutes before the end of normal time, but he hasn't managed to impose himself in the game that much since then.
No, he's probably just getting those fresh legs on, and he's used his subs well, Daniel, actually, just in terms of keeping the fresh legs on. Probably try to maximise how Kingussie are feeling with their injuries and sore bodies.
Should there is Daniel Cameron, Vrishabal Gafather of Geisen. Horshaw Lewis Cameron, the Nachne live Glee. Hanyer Kafa Gore. Hanyer Niek in Gaive. Was er get told the lane Glevan. Ach. Clack Gloch, Clack Nunya, Clack Gorum, Mayushua. Gewoon nach de go at the Riche, get the Ross Campbell around, the Fiachin in the ocean. Cameron know, you know, they don't have to force this, but if they get any sniff of goal at all, there is well to go for it.
Yeah, I think another goal for Cameron would definitely seal the game for them.
Kingussie hier wil wel nog dat er daar skippen is. De season de Ghiùthsaich de Ruger in de bereiker deze Schach Gignoni is ook Mosfield is league. Groana Fasker, Hukschen Klischkiger en open Larsen. Wat ik daar een nog een gerich. Ik ga ordevi Breens, Smeunje ook se knoos en Cushions. Han ik pak de gachter van Larsen. Kingussie kan we voor een Peugeot. Zal ik open de wisse server door Skineri carry Gaan Lorn Dickey. Rashka Hassan. Kingussie vond ik het nu niet ook in Johnny. Keer heen woon ik het de blinde runnischen. Ga heen want ik kan me nog open dat Kingussie en daar willen ze trietje. Vond ik Kingussie. Daar willen ze gaan het kujok. Hij gezin het. Vond ik het Noorsen. Echt ervoor dat er een skipping is game zit. Aan de koers nog Chupa Mhicamhlaigh. Je ziet ze en Ghiùthsaich. Gewoon de rechter weer aan ik. Kan maar nog op een kujok. Keer via het bleonig en naar per seconde horen. En de bleonig is een kujok. Hoort ik er uur is je woondag. En de vaart kakken heen. Open where they want to be, even if they don't particularly have the ball in front of the goal here. You know, they want to make Kingussie's end.
Yeah, just want to take the game down at this point, but as much time as they can waste at this point, I guess, up there in the Kingussie half, the better for them.
Mag. Dan mag van Ghiùthsaich nog Camanachd a Kingussie gewoon geta. Wil je van als een ries, kan Camanachd kan open. Wel Carriage, was met Mellon. Curve ik eruit naar elkaar, gaat grond in de vision. Half in de kast in de kluich er open, continue. Jenny Keller, bal er nog mag te veel in de park, zal ik een open wijze haast. Kan hier zich goed in de vaart, ach. Gaan we los in de bal. Brien Kingussue. Ja, gaat nog een keer lager goed. Ballen. Kan die Kingussie in de vaartkeries. Bal maken in wie een. Ja, je nog vlotpakker, Horschacher, Ross Campbell. Geen blog. Kost te maken, nog zijn je riest. Dickey. Gaan we hier zo. Die been. Nou, is een been, kaboelig maar. Nu is het wel te doen, Borthwick. Zo, ik weg hier voor je kost te vallen van de Ghiùthsaich. Sutherland voor Ghiùthsaich. Gewoon naar de vial. Schön. Cammy Sutherland, ben je maar. Almost deceived him, not just the way the ball bounces up in front of him, Cammy Sutherland.
Had to readjust quite quickly to catch that with his body. We saw it with Ross McMillan's goal, just get on the target, make the keeper work.
Hicmerach. Gematrich. Met een verre stedelijke is. Kan Kingussie het al verenigen met de goal. Kammeser tulde naar Òbain. Gaat je schön pullig maar hier gaat gedaan. Liebeen skippelig. Van Coimhead kujok. Hier zal dus niet choos Kingussie doiken. Dunje Borthwick Janine niet elkaar. Het komt is Kelly nummer 1. 10 minuten per goal. Kan Kingussie gevecht met heen. Het is toch een leuke rasje in de game ze gedaan. Where would you put your money, Andy? You'd have to go with Òbain if you were forced into it at the moment.
That's the way it feels at the moment, the way the game is playing out in extra time. But we did see Kingussie score in the second half.
Never say never. Wat in je haast er vaak zitten je vervindt je het gaan. We kan no panchiesko uit in je cheek. Dus je gaat nu in je varak. Ga je paluden zeven oorsen kloeg er kutje ook wingeltjes toch een nu in je varak koeien. Lopend al hoe is er vaak. Goal in de winnen. Maar we doen Malcolm Clark met Chupa Mhicamhlaigh en zo goal. Ballard. Zag er weer Liebeen en Rash van de Zun. Gemacherijske Clark. Kan hem zo. 4 kan hem gaan open. Kan hem in de zadel in man op Oban Camanachd voor een gas. Een gasglimach. Ga je verripping aan de berg. Kloeg er een open. Ach, ga je er weten de kruisje niet hier. Zeer veel je kan weer in staan in de park. Now, this is a good save from Bob McGregor. I think Ross McMillan was claiming he's kicked it here, but he sticks his foot out. It'd be harsh to give it as a kick, I think.
Come on.
What do you think? Is it a kick, Andy? I don't know. He gets his foot out to it.
Yeah, I'd feel harshly done by if I got a kick given against me for that. So Bob, a couple of good saves for Bob there, but that was it for Camanachd there if that had gone in.
Well, that's the thing. You know, he might look back in that first goal and think, oh, I've made a mistake. But he's kept his team in it there, and he's kept his team in it more than once since then.
Yeah, he's had some really good saves since then. Great keeper, Bob, very experienced.
Ball to Kingussie here in the Hall. British Shai Huas. Macafiocha, trying to cast in again, Rashi Andy Macaulay. Nach Oban Camanachd far, be Kingussie hier, Sherson Vuali Huas. Hier maak je version hier de Hall as a cluich goram. Ka 50 garage pakken le kalm garven. Die camera in hier af ek kan nu kan so let noor het trekker Davis. Maar die McGregor stream camera in de cool dat hou. Could je goed maar garven en nu. Jo gaan mag in en dan mag in de bereik game meer nog soccer er weer gelu. De soccer van hakken te gaan ju. Janini van de Walse as jy haast let my day. Oh, well, that's a really tough one there for Camanachd. Now, has he given a hit out or a corner? I think he's given the hit out because it looked like it had gone out maybe before Sutherland got his foot in this.
Yeah, I think the goal line, the goal judge has given a bad hit for that.
I know, seen it on the phone, but
yeah, it looks like he's over the line.
We'll say it was anyway. Alexander Michi who is genoegen, Kingussie. Convery Savio Giannini.
come on.
Chester Vision is beyond Cammy Sutherland. Raider Kurt Kavaker. And the Carla Kurt Kavaker, Kerskino. And the Cachermashin, Con Grant to Chinamacher on Kujok. Ferrogashin, Chinama. Rory Monroe. Open Chinavarlish. Hannibal Huas. Hanendoshan. Ross McMillan, who are in the Hull and Yees, who are in the Hull. A couple of Coimhead and Ghiùthsaich. Another roll of the dice from Royal Ross there. Xander Michi's gone up to the forward alongside Savio Giannini just to try and muscle things out, I think.
Yeah, I think they're just not last roll of the dice type effort from Ronald there. He's trying to change something, make something stick up front and maybe feed off Xander for Savio. Trouble is they need to get the ball up.
Gaan jullie vastkoren de rest.
Come on, guys.
Gary Lord. De goal shot kan open, meer gehaald. Lee Bain van de Vallaard. En ik brak is in de Ghiùthsaich. Daniel Cameron. Hij heeft Gers Cohan. Check Cameron naar hand. Manager Cameron kan open. Ghiùthsaich in Woeje. One of these where it comes. It's one of these where he's wearing a helmet, so it's not serious. But it's a bit of a bang anyway.
Yeah. It looks like Lee's won the ball and the sticks come down and actually come off of Daniel's stick and bounce back up into Daniel's helmet. It's not as if he's come down from the 10-2 position and on top of Daniel's head.
Stond kan open de visa. Ghiùthsaich. Shai van al een geleden shot. Voor een vrijdag van de Martian. Lewis Cameron. Fchin Nollers en de Gammel de Vark. Daniel Cameron 4 in je gaan 9 kaal. Lurie Anderson. Games kan je er weken. Daniel mag je 4 keer wie kan je Kujok. Giannini. Bal naar uit. Cammy Sullivan sin amachchas I dhé. Fiachan mi bhuachaileach gemach ó Ryan ma. Hann dá lig a leis, hat hort sin ris gur Caman Ghiùthsaich. Tikia a game soon near of shachet. Coolest man on the pitch until he got a wee bit wind up. But he does really well here, just sensing I can just let this go.
Yeah, just tries to put his body across. Stop the forward, getting the ball as well. It was a good ball from Savio, just a little bit too much on it there, but it was the right ball.
What remember walk of Alan, like Cameron's at a hunt. Their son, Ghiùthsaich.
Stop. What is it? Go where?
Brie weer cool duil, als je bij me weet is een chick, kun je holt in je komen.
Take your own time up.
Hier is je goal. Toen kan ik Caman en al eens een knap. Fjord gemoor en al voor Natalawin. Michi. Fiach nu fijn saus, ze gaan van hier door. We gaan je huis genooi. Fijn wil je kutjok. En die Macaulay de fijn is ook. Je zong hoor hem hier ik kan de Ghiùthsaich. Als je daar net gaan, in hier bij me net je naar waar ik is, hem in Navaris. Michi heen has zich ondraast. Eersel. Ga je zeggen ter holt in je. Sta aan de hen. Dylan Borthwick to know. Waar hier eigenlijk een gekendje. Lekker Lord Dickey to know lichaam. Dylan Borthwick a hauling kick like Colin Gervin. I mean, clearly late, fairly cynical. It doesn't help that Dylan Borthwick's probably playing in an area of the pitch where he's not that happy or comfortable with.
Yeah, just a kind of lazy late tackle. Won't do any Camanachd any harm to get that tackle in and get up the park in the last couple of minutes of the game.
Minutje Varach, Rigolf, minutje. Rigolf, Noorsen, Stoge, minutje ga Varach naar Sin. Joshin je maag. Colles oren is, give el Camanachd een op en tirachle. Kun je wel weer Òbain. Sin hier door. Oh, daar wielen. Strierichet.
Come on, guys.
Kingussie het laten nog in jaar en Daveli aan de Meerik. Gaat hier een minutje in de af. En Òbain. Kuchbewicht gaan wij hokkel in oorellen. Dan gaan we kusle Chupa Mhicamhlaigh via groot in je goal. Zo is Òbain. Mag als een goeie. Van Òbain. Kastje geen Richardson. Gianni nu. Alle precies staan mee in de park. Kan de Ghiùthsaich rekenen via weer groenig. Òbain, toch hoe is er vaak het via dit jaar keer geen bewoonde bullig. Louis Cameron val op gedorst en Daniel Cameron de manager kon er is. Ik geef ook keer af is. Kuima. Gianni is een kutje kan het Cameron is jager. Femi had. Macaulay doos in de handen huren dol kan de Ghiùthsaich via een begerer. Keer maar conversion chendol is neer wat tegen nu. De Cameron niet al de nist. Kogen niet al te van Òbain. Waarin wat de geama halen ze nog zijn. We aan het hike. Naar de wij hier kutjok. Er is een Camanachd een Òbain hier gaan we de station. Minutjes chach. De goeie Varach. De goeie Varach. Kan je het kussen raken. Daniel Cameron is manager. Goal nodig erheen. Toch er kasher. Rater in Gomassa zoning aan kutjok. Daniel Cameron. Dat is Ross Campbell. Kijk wel cool. Cameron toch al waar. Is je niet de finisher? Ik zal de Kingussie gewezen. Dat kan stratek. Is niet chicken meer. Is ik gehoord dat je theater Gianni daar gaan je lachen. Via wie mijlen geraden. Daniel Cameron via je goed te roken Gomassa zoning aan. Dan McGregor en de Kafaka goal gaan. Die het alweer weer al. Sasha het. Camanachd yn Òbain i'r Chupa Mhicamhlaigh bhónach. Céir fichid bliod o fo si gyda arbys y sios yn Òbain sa skipig y falu dylhwg y Òbain yn o'r ile. Da bliod an ystre mae Kingussie yn lafon o'ch gyda ein jorau. Fad yr cawl yn i'r chwrsir yn o'ch Chupa Mhicamhlaigh yn Ghiùthsaich a chaparwys gyda mi yn o'r unw. Chaparwys gymryd Daniel Cameron sy'n clwch i'r unig ydych yr noi glon. Mae'r hader sio y fôn o'ch unw. Yr hosioch 2 o'r chapurig a Kingussie a harig ar as yn dar nhw o'r. Sa'n camera noch sy'n clwch i'r unig yr Chupa Mhicamhlaigh i fôn o'ch yn o'r ile. Hwna trich gaha, cach of tourist yn echtri y fain hader yn gopan sy'n fôn o'ch. A hader hian yfyr bielwyd y lwcliant yn iach gehyn. Agus Eirfod Ceinjoch. Ga fi Grand Slam met Kingussie gyda decent. Yn gopan Cyug Savio Giannini's cach. Corymila haas de siog Mosfield aan de koersje nog Chupa Mhicamhlaigh. Ga gaan nu. Ik dit de Chupa Mhicamhlaigh. Er is al vader. Gaan we naar Òbain. Het doe. Ik is een jarak. Gavi. De gopan. Prachtige gopan geweest. Daar naar geheen. Lamoor en dan gaan we nog Lamoor. Er was Campbell. Hoe hier tol is. Ross McMillan, hoe in Darnetol. Zwaar shit kilo's in de woondag. Camanachd Òbain ga. Kan de Ghiùthsaich hun.
Mór an tain Derek agus, well, apa'r geama fa sin agus. Skipa Camanachd Òbain iedd Chupa y hwgal is on y Jack o Turys agus siad y fe slàn idd yn doi. Fer yna skipa achgus yn call yr ums y draste. Daniel, player of the match performance. You've won the trophy. Just how does it feel?
Unbelievable. After the heartbreak last week, where getting beaten in the semi-final, we just tried to focus on getting over the line, you know, because Kingussie are a good team and we've been here plenty of times before. Just thought we need to stick to the game plan, defend with all we've got and take our chances, and we've done that today. So.
You mentioned defending with all you've got. I think between the 3 Daniels at the back, you all seem to be in bits at different points. Just how difficult was that?
Hard, especially after playing 120 minutes last week and then 120 minutes this week. It does take its toll, so a wee bit sore, but definitely worth it.
A wee bit sore, and I'm sure you won't be feeling that tomorrow morning.
Well, I might actually. I'll probably be feeling a lot worse. Not anything to do with Shinty, probably a sore head. So.
But just talking about, you know, winning the Macaulay Cup here in Òbain, you know, it's been so many times yourselves and Kingussie have played in the final. Just what does it mean to this Òbain side?
It's unbelievable. As I said, we've been here plenty of times before. Last year we probably thought we should have won it, and this year we have. So. Just same again.
Well, we'll let you go away. We'll let you start the celebration. So I don't want to ask when they're going to finish. Congratulations.
Cheers, thanks so
well
much.
Done in your player of the match performance. Sin Maha, Daniel Macaulay, Hain, Fala Vegas, Glenn Idigoy. And Andy, you know, we hear there just how difficult it's been. He said heartbreak last week to then turn it around and do it this week. Just how big a performance was that?
Yeah, I think it says a lot around about the Oban Camanachd kind of mentality and the resilience as a team. When Kingussie scored to make it 1-each, I'm sure there was a few seeds of doubt in their mind after last week and the way that the game played out against Newtonmore last week. So, no, I think in my mind, I think Camanachd deserved it just probably for that, and they dug in, and you touched on it yourself speaking to Daniel there, that the defence for me really won them the game today. I thought their game plan that Daniel Cameron set out, putting Daniel McVicker at the back, the way he set up, they were still a threat going forward, but excellent at the back, and I think they were worthy of their win today. It was a great game. Thought it was end to end. There was chances at both ends as well, but I think for me Camanachd deserved it just purely for that resilience and ability to bounce back after last week.
Camanachd did bounce back, and we'll get a chance to speak to their manager at the moment. We'll bring you in, and congratulations, well done.
Andrew, how are you?
Just, first of all, as a player manager, you spent probably longer out in the field than you might have wanted in some matches, but just how do you feel having won that trophy?
Exhausted. Not a proper warm-up, but nah, I'm proud of all the boys. They took a hell of a setback last week, mentally getting them picked up, and physically extra time back to back. I take my hat off to every single one of them. A massive squad effort, every single one of them.
And you mentioned last week to do it again, to come back. Were there nerves when it came back to 1-1 that you thought, oh no, not again?
Yeah. It's something we need to work on, especially this young group going forward. They need to learn to deal with it in these big occasions. Kingussie and Newton Moore, they've got a lot of experience, boys giving back to the club. We need to do that in the town and push these boys that extra yard in these big games as well.
Well, we'll let you go. The trophy's getting ready to be presented, but congratulations, well
Cheers.
done.
Thanks a lot, mate.
Sin maha manager Chupa Mhicamhlaigh an Òbain isan a fáilmh gus in dúis aing agus ag sin drast iras go Derek.
Tá plat Alain an a chud sin ceann cluich cluich an a go ar far cho fatta sin nach fa mi crich léir hí tú gúine bharach ús per na bharach na sin sin go leor gar sé glíbeh de vinna sin chuiche sé miach ha an dúir se hógal ja gaan niet beloch ach bier door zo kan tegen gasten maar vanetje maar weinig maar goed er van zo kutjo kijk eens go prich de roterie ja ga nu toch naar de go prich een nurie kan naimse wat meer nog gas voor Andersen skipper gaat de Ghiùthsaich het in de deur tegen va hika is in de wie ik kan hem in de cluich drukken at zat de Kingussue gaan stand Oban Camanachd heen dus een skipper de skipper naar het bondig agus gan am gin skipin nach Ghiùthsaich Chupa Mhicamhlaigh wat meben ik kan de streep sultan lachke chinnert chuairt cascilor kan de Ghiùthsaich ha be lach ge hat op percussion bulch mar vi get geori te veramenden wa de chluitrin gorstach live James Falconer Kuyui Roddy Young Liam Borthwick Fraser Monroe Ghiùthsaich Colin Macaulay Ghiùthsaich Thomas Borthwick we game Dylan Borthwick hij is een profit bulch Bijna Yichel, Savio Giannini, we kies Mayens en Kutjok. Ik differ amanen, agus Shadiekerin, Cluich heeft Jeker een differ geef. Macaulay Dawson ook aardig hoog Jek, Schach Jek, han ik verder winkjes, ze horen tol. Geisen, zo'n gammel als games, ze game horskoen je varak, ach, Grakelior, zo'n hunig, Ronald Ross zit in de uit Kutjok. Agus, gaan je de bal de weer kiori, de uren te hikken kan gaan mij zijn uit de voor goed er mag iets mee. Agus de rater in is je weet ik hem. Hoe is er de beenjach is in kalm Gervin. De Ghiùthsaich. En weer de Ghiùthsaich le. Die Cameron. Agus. Maar die McGregor scream Cameron. De Ghiùthsaich. Agus pak in play maken. Gaan met een karsnik in de volk. Je kan er niet echt gaan. Ga niet kunnen rijden. Robert Baxter mission. Ach, faun Kuyui. Agus sa goed er game de heugelijk komen Macaulay maar honderdjes maar goed in de bereiken Daniel Macaulay Shikaro 4 game ke goed naar 100 in de uit Kujok er was een garm Macaulay ska gewoon laten lopen TV Hamilton is in de komen Macaulay ga je ook toch kunnen zo op de manier die is in de show we vinden er de gritchen maar we kunnen hem gevatten hoe komen Mhicamhlaigh agus skipper Camanachd an Òbain Nishtachinner Daniel Macafiecha Daniel McVicker is in Gavi ik faalt in de cluich er nille ikesen sega Camanachd arake chain kurie faalt in de gorgen de cluich er nikke hoe is de vark stond ne pijn achkesen een kutje kan mi zo lang nog rein Sadelijk niet aan, 4 goed, er mag chillen gaan in je naart gaan doorgaan. Ghiùthsaich, de geum til de Borthwick maakt Daniel Maddy, de naarne verre Chinnert. Is in Ghiùthsaich maar hij nu gehaartje zich hier weer. Verder naar jakken zich hij zich even neu. Een valuur, geen begin de neu, ik gaan hal. Ach, ga game waar nu er gelachjes in gekindjach. Fijn dag, kijk haar initial, makkelijk klaar, kijk er wat morgen, kast naar Gianni. De vaartje heen, het bel met huldig heen. Holt in je kan maar tegen, holt in je. Ik heb toch gegeven wie. Vast pushen kan hier is het. Zo, als een vechtje. Gewoon ik fijn. Het in Suez Kutjok, Gary Lords, Kaag. Daniel Cameron, ik kan de streek geboord. Arabische Tjek, gooi je er in de winkie. Ach, zeg ik stuur, hol ik alle houden, ja. Agus de coach genulig in Ruud, Ian McAvilling en Skelly McMillan, Lavan, Morik aan de Jokujok, Hens Daniel, ik hoop dat het Lou, Kleek in Park, Sir Cool Knoich, de coach Kujok. Cluichter en Camanachd an Òbain jullie kolig. Fhaicinn ac scawn cynnyr gef siesif Selim had chysgu Daniel Macaulay doling ein y lafyn eich Òbain Sad Trishal is Joan o'ch hwgal Camanachd Òbain Chupa Mhicamhlaigh David y siahar i'ch yn lafyn 3 blion y hawl as yn iei Dafli o'n y hawl as yn iei 3 blion yn y stre a dyr lafyn o'ch yr ein i'r Kingussie Nishin season Macaulay Gaan je laten cluich om als Jurmich. Gaan je laten stochen het urte gemmich in de volgende deze ze wegen de Curie. Ga skipping show in nieuw wat ik in haast aan de pleondigen beheen. Sa korachke John de Pia gaan het doen. Rashi is de disco. Alan agus go aan die woord.
Morning time Derek agus sin feiching shit. Daniel Macaulay Tokal and dois we see Daniel Vicker picking up the trophy. He could quite easily have been man of the match, but also Cameron and Sutherland in the goal, so important for them.
Yeah, their defence was outstanding, as we touched on during the game today. But yeah, I think Daniel's is so versatile, as I said in commentary as well. He can play anywhere. He absolutely did his job. It's a really good battle between him and Rory Anderson at the back today. But yeah, I think Cameron, in terms of that, they used their subs well today. I think they rotated their subs really well today to get fresh legs on as well, and that helped them. But the foundation for all of that was their defence, absolutely.
And to take those chances up top, really only half chances. First of all, obviously a mistake from a Kingussie point of view, but the second goal especially, kind of half a chance, ball just breaks, but they have to be there, they have to do the job.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think if you probably looked at all the chances throughout the game, Kingussie probably actually edged that in terms of chances, to be honest, but nothing really clear-cut or shots that Cammy was able to deal with quite easily. But the two that counted, Camanachd took, you know, clearly Bob will be disappointed with that first goal, Bob McGregor, and the goals for Kingussie. You'd expect him to save that, but I do think that maybe the ball bent a bit in the wind. You could see it affecting it in the second half there. So yeah, Cameron will be delighted. It's a home victory with home support, you know.
Òbain have obviously spoken about the turnaround from last week, from that 120 minutes, the heartbreak as it was called, but also the turnaround from the league game earlier on in the season where it was completely the other way. Yeah, and I think probably at that point Kingussie were really flying at that point in the league. I think they went 3 or 4 games free scoring, a lot of goals into double figures in a couple of games, I think, potentially as well. So injuries will probably play their part in that Kingussie side. It was a very settled side at that point in the season, and I know that Cameron had some injuries earlier on in the season. We're probably searching for their best line-up and starting 12 type thing. So yeah, later on in the season, but it's the finals that count. That's the ones they'll remember, not the league games. So Cameron will be delighted with that. And how important is this? You're obviously someone who's so involved in South Shinty. Like, how important is it to have a South team winning to turn things around in a season that has been tough across the board from the South point of view? Yeah, it's a great thing for South Shinty, for Oban Camanachd to win today. There's no doubt about that. You know, it's clear there's some struggles in South Shinty at the moment, and it's hard, you know. So I think any wins we can take is for South Shinty all the best, you know. But Camanachd winning is great for us down south. I'd like to see more of it, to be honest. Clearly dominated in the league in most of the cups with the North. So yeah, the South will certainly get a job to do to try and raise the level to get back to where they need to be with some of the teams, you know. And can you see they'll be obviously disappointed? The quadruple's gone, at least for this season. How do they then pick themselves up? Is it purely a case of bodies and injuries and fitness? I think it is at the moment. If you look at the way the game played out today, I think the injuries they carried into the game today had a big impact on the game, and the way it played out. Some really tired bodies in the Kingussie half. You could see that with the body language potentially towards the end of the game and some of the tackles. There's still a lot to play for in the league. They've still got the Camera Cup coming up. So I think for Kingussie at the moment, it's absolutely just about recovery and getting the players back into training and getting them focused on the games coming up. And we'll have a look just in a second. We'll see the winning goal at the moment. And just how important is it that they got that goal, they got that half chance, and they made the difference? Well, you could see from the first. You can see the goal there. Ross takes it ever so well, but you could see from the Kingussie goal, the lift that they got during the game from that, and they got a spring in their step, and they got a wee 5 or 10 minutes boost, and they started to come into the game really well from that point. And the same for Cameron when they get that second goal. And
And you kind of just felt into that extra time that the longer that went on, the camera were getting more and more comfortable, and you couldn't see really where that was coming from Kingussie in terms of a kind of an equaliser or even to get winning goals. So yeah, fairly not comfortable, I wouldn't say, for Camanachd, but you just felt it was their game at the end of the day.
And that gave them that extra 1 or 2% that they needed when everyone was knackered. You know, you had Daniel Cameron tell us just how absolutely knackered he was.
Yeah, and the game was end to end for the 90 minutes and extra time. It wasn't like one team camped in for like a 10-15 minute period at any point in the game. It was end to end, and a really good game of shinty to watch. So I think there will be really tired bodies, as you've alluded to there. But I think for me, that second goal mentally as much as physically for Camanachd after what happened last week with the semi-final of the Scottish Cup would have been a big thing for them, giving that boost mentally just to see the rest of the game out.
Well, Reinad Chuairt iad sin, má haingid Andy san sin. Skippe Camanachd an Òbain, Ceann an bar, Reinad Chuairt me dhéirí hawl, gavile fiche sa 3 va an Chupa Mhicamhlaigh iddi bhí ag skippe Ghiùthsaich. Chai Camanachd an Òbain iad thoiseach Ghiùthsaich tilig arás. Agus is ána darna seachgain sré héile, geama Camanachd an Òbain an dolas deach de gúne barach. Cha deach cúsin na nai I deachgain se brisig cria mar a húrstad a bhaun a deachgan a chai an a níorchúrsin nach Chupa na Camanachd. Charo dat iene sin an. Garstechas is fialaga vis adol a seo ag park of Osfield agus Alblanis an a balle an Òbain in no. Ca skippe Camanachd an Òbain in son in seach geturis iad Chupa Mhicamhlaigh a chosin I jaake hun iad Ghiùthsaich mar sin leive draasta.